Chapter 538, Chapter 296, You're telling me this is a little turtle. It's gone. Watching the broken jade kite disappear into the horizon, Suran let out a slight sigh of relief. Setting aside the three little ones who had grown up with him, who seemed to have their settings turned up, the strength of this broken jade kite was extremely rare at the general stage level. At that last moment, Suran could vaguely guess that the opponent's skill must have been some critical skill that, if allowed to be executed successfully, might not even be easily countered by Xian. Alas, the opponent's skill was precisely restrained by Xian's thunder shake heavenly sound. It was over before it even began. If the one facing off hadn't been Xian, but Kankan, then that broken jade kite. Oh, Kankan has the land of destruction. It seems then that the broken jade kite could only have defeated Star. Star? Meow tilde, I've almost recovered. Xian, on the side, was already back at full health. In this arena shrouded by a light film, the energy was unimaginably dense, and after special modifications by the Beast Emperor, it was very easy to absorb. Add to that the fated star-pulling skill Star had executed as soon as it appeared. Xian, who had not been injured, only exhausted, recovered very quickly. Stay sharp, Suran's voice paused slightly. This light film should be fading soon, and our rest time between defenses is about to end. Soon, other strong opponents will come on stage, and we must not underestimate them. Meow understood. Xian responded, and quickly adopted a ready-to-fight posture. Not so fast. Seeing Xian looking so, Suran smiled. You won't be needed in every fight. We have to give Star and Kankan a chance to perform too. Indeed, exactly. Kankan nodded vigorously, with a look of complete agreement in its eyes. After all, it was the second powerhouse and the top defender in the team. How could it merely watch its companions show off in such a situation? It had 4-star skills too. Even Star let out a neigh, nodding in agreement. Although it didn't really have any offensive methods of its own. But the rules of the Battle of 10,000 Tribes stated that a beast master must fight in tandem with one pet beast, which changed the equation. The fated star pulling was about to showcase its splendor once again. And it also wanted to try out the effects of its newly fused 4-star skill, Prayer of Starry Night. Meow tilde, all right tilde. Seeing its two companions brimming with the zeal of battle, Xian shook its paw in resignation and stepped back. It looked like Xian's dream of dominating the arena from start to finish was doomed to remain unfulfilled. In a while, I will choose one of you three based on the strength of our opponents, Suran said with a smile, pointing to the platforms on the sky-reaching pillar meant for climbing and resting. Those who aren't chosen, wait on the platforms outside the arena. All three little ones nodded, signifying they understood. As the trio of one human and three beasts communicated, the light film enveloping the entire arena slowly dissipated. The outside scene became visible. Although Suran's fight with the broken jade kite had not taken much time, there were quite a few strong and fast contenders among the rest. On the upper leaf arenas number 1 and 2, and the other top 10 below, fierce battles had already begun in succession, and outside the third arena where Suran was, several figures with fighting spirits high in the sky had appeared. As the light film completely vanished, the third arena was once again open for challenge, and these figures looked at each other as if pondering who should make the first move. They seemed to have reached a tacit agreement in silence. A transcendent being that looked like a specter, shrouded in black mist, floated onto the stage, and then a slit opened in its round belly, from which a fierce-looking man emerged. Suran's gaze slightly intensified. It was Zhao Chuo, previously mentioned, the beast master known as Chuobahai. It was unexpected that after the battle with the broken jade kite, Suran would face off against Chuobahai so soon. Compared to wild transcendent beings, he was more accustomed to human beastmasters and knew full well that the power of a strong beastmaster, combined with their pet beasts, was no simple sum. This opponent in front of him should not be underestimated. While Suran examined his adversary, Chuobahai, who had come onto the stage, was also sizing up Suran. Those hawk-like eyes held strong desire for combat and curiosity. Since when did Monster Wooden Domain have such a formidable general stage beastmaster? Originally, when he saw that Suran was using a thunder attribute pet beast, he thought he might not encounter Suran, but fate had made their paths cross regardless. But that was precisely what he wanted. A frenzy appeared in Chuobahai's eyes. He was a pure warmonger. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been born in the peaceful monster wooden city, but yearned for the chaos of other beast fields. For Chuobahai, encountering an opponent with similar strength and battling against them was a great joy. Therefore, he never missed the annual battle of 10,000 tribes, which he had attended many times. Because the speed of his own pet beast was very fast, he had watched the second half of Su Ran's fight with the broken Jade kite. Chuobahai had also kept an eye on the broken Jade kite and even thought about facing them in the battle of 10,000 tribes, but now it seemed unlikely. The explosive skill of Su Ran's overpowered pet beast ignited a fire in him. Chapter 539, 296. You're telling me this is a little turtle. Chapter 539, Chapter 296. You're telling me this is a little turtle, /. If possible, he hoped he could take his pet beast and battle against it. As this thought crossed his mind, the hexagram star array behind Chuobahai flickered rapidly. The ghost-like dark attribute pet beast was sent back to its designated spot, and amidst the energy storm sweeping up, the initial pet beast that had followed him, a menacing and fierce-looking fighting pet beast, stepped forward. Fighting king species, sickle-stabbing battle king. This was Chuobahai's first pet beast, as well as the strongest among his 4 pet beasts. More importantly, the sickle-stabbing battle king shared a temperament very similar to Chuobahai himself. They both aspired to battle with the strong. Come on, let me see your strength. Having summoned his battle pet beast, Chuobahai shouted at Su Ran. Meow, should I go? Seeing a fighting attribute opponent, Ziyun moved its paw slightly, a surge of impulse to take action welling up inside. However, remembering Su Ran's prior words, it turned its gaze towards Su Ran, waiting for him to make a decision. After glancing at the terrifyingly fierce fighting pet beast in the distance, Su Ran hesitated only for a moment before making up his mind. Let Can-Can go. Me. Can-Can was momentarily stunned, then excitement sparked in its golden eyes. Can-Can had heard the words spoken by that human called Zhao Chu as well. According to Zhao Chu, this human named Chuobahai was likely one of the more threatening challengers at the Leaf Fighting Platform number 3 today. To face such a challenger, Su Ran had chosen it. What did that indicate? It meant Su Ran recognized its strength. Can-Can, who had seemed somewhat invisible in the team due to Ziyun's dominance, suddenly felt touched at that moment. Turns out, Su Ran had always been aware of its improvements. With that in mind, Can-Can turned its head, looking towards the opponent who seemed quite threatening. Let them see the might of Can Emperor. Zelu Tilda, fight on. Star, not chosen by Su Ran, wasn't disheartened. It glanced at Ziyun, and then the 2 small ones quickly left the arena, ascending the platform of the sky-reaching pillar connected to the Leaf Arena, and quietly watched the situation in the arena. Upon witnessing this scene, Chuobahai's expression froze slightly. He had assumed Su Ran would send out the thunder and fighting dual attribute cat pet beast from the previous battle. After all, such a powerful pet beast seemed like the opponent's main pet beast. Unexpectedly facing him, Su Ran had dispatched another pet beast, a turtle that seemed to have average strength. What was this? An underestimation of himself. In an instant, a wave of anger surged through Chuobahai. Impulsive as he was, he immediately bellowed out. Why aren't you using the pet beast from the previous battle? Are you looking down on me? Looking down on you? A trace of surprise appeared in Su Ran's eyes, saying that, it seems like you're the one looking down on my pet beast. Underestimated. Can-Can beside him nodded in agreement, a hint of discontent appearing on its face. What did it mean that switching to it was looking down on him? Was that not thinking it was weaker than Ziyun? Although that was true. But it wasn't that much weaker, okay. HMPH, then bring it on. Having heard Su Ran's response, Chuobahai spoke no further, though dissatisfaction still lingered in his heart. Anyone could tell, Su Ran's pet beast now seemed weaker than the previous one. Watching as its form expanded with the wind, the once inconspicuous little turtle transformed into a beast tens of meters tall in a flash, and its presence continued to climb, rapidly becoming powerful in an extreme amount of time. Chuobahai's expression stiffened. This guy, what's happening? Those in the audience who were continuously observing Su Ran's side, particularly those who had dealt with Starfare Foster Care Shop and weren't strangers to that little turtle, also echoed the cry of shock. That was clearly a harmless little turtle with a very friendly nature, even taking the initiative to greet customers. Why did it suddenly change this much? And in the next moment, both Chuobahai and the audience realized they had been surprised too soon. Because tens of meters tall, a size that could easily qualify for a super large-size pet beast, was not the little turtle's limit. 50 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, 300 meters. Reverting from its reduced state to its original size, Cancan's transformation paused briefly. At the same time, its enormous aura, befitting the general-level pinnacle, surged skyward, sweeping towards Chuobahai. For some reason, looking up at the beast akin to a small mountain, Chuobahai breathed a sigh of relief. He had almost thought the creature could keep growing indefinitely. Now it seemed this was its limit. Feeling Cancan's not-so-weak presence at this moment, Chuobahai's previous anger faded. It seemed the young man in front of him hadn't lied. This pet beast's strength probably wasn't weak either. Sickle stabbing attack. With a low shout, Chuobahai drew two curved blades from his waist and charged towards Cancan together with sickle stabbing Battle King. Having received the feedback from his 4 general-level pinnacle pet beasts, Chuobahai's own strength had also touched upon the general level. Though much weaker than sickle-stabbing Battle King, he could still barely keep up with its pace. Fighting side by side, man and pet beast, such a sight was relatively rare among beast masters, but seeing that it was Chuobahai, the combat maniac, it made perfect sense to everyone. Chapter 540-296. You're telling me this is a little turtle. Chapter 540, Chapter 296. You're telling me this is a little turtle, /. Standing atop Cancan's head, Suran looked down at the man and beast duo charging towards him, arms crossed, exuding the demeanor of a master. Cancan, keep going. Chatilda understood. With a roar that echoed throughout the entire arena, Cancan's body abruptly expanded once more from its original state. 500 meters, 1,000 meters, 1,500 meters. As its body continued to swell, Cancan's momentum climbed steadily. Although it wasn't as rapid as when it reverted to normal size, it was still impressively quick. By the time it expanded its body to over 2,000 meters, reaching the limit of the Mustard Zumi current stage, its momentum had increased by 2 to 3 times, surpassing the scope of the general stage and faintly touching upon the king stage level. With its expansion came extreme sluggishness in movement, but to others who were unaware of this, the sight was beyond shocking. Keep in mind, the size of an arena at the general stage is only about 3,000 meters in diameter. The arenas in the top 10 are slightly larger, with a diameter of only 4,000 meters. And now, this transcendent being, by merely standing there, occupied nearly a third of one competition area. The entire Leaf Arena number 3 seemed to sag under its colossal size. How do you fight this? The same question arose not only in the minds of the spectators, but also in the mind of Chuobahai, who, as Suran's opponent standing in the arena, along with the sickle-stabbing Battle King, had halted their original charge. Gazing up at the shadow overhead, both man and beast swallowed their saliva in unison. Although size and strength aren't always equivalent. With such a size, would you believe it if someone said it wasn't powerful? SSS. The sickle-stabbing Battle King turned to its beast master and uttered an inquiring sound. Are we still fighting or not? It enjoyed battling the strong, but it didn't enjoy being beaten one-sidedly. Facing Cancan, whose oppressive form was slowly lowering its head, and Suran, who looked tiny on Cancan's head but was a presence no one dared to ignore, Chuobahai forcefully swallowed his saliva. Fight. 1 second later. Observing Chuobahai and the sickle-stabbing Battle King, who were both ejected from the arena, held aloft on an invisible light film, and delivered to a nearby platform, silence fell over the entire venue. Even participants on other arenas couldn't help but frequently glance towards Suran's location, internally relieved that they weren't the ones targeted. Wasn't this cruelty? Since when did the monster wooden domain produce such an immensely powerful beastmaster? As the battle concluded, Cancan rapidly shrank down from its form that occupied half the arena, reverting to a portable size of about 1 meter. Seeing this, no one dared to underestimate the seemingly ordinary little turtle any longer. If provoked, it truly could morph into a giant beast in an instant. Compared to Zeon, Cancan consumed less energy. This was an arena constructed by the Beast Emperor sky-touching mysterious wood. Although it was accommodating to other attributes, the sky-touching mysterious wood itself was of the Earth attribute, granting Earth attribute pet beasts some extra consideration here. Hence, after the light film rose, within just a few breaths, Can-Can had completely recovered. "After this, we should get some temporary relief," said Su-Ran with a smile, looking at the three little ones who had regrouped. After both Xian and Can-Can displayed such formidable strength, anyone wishing to climb the arena to claim the throne would have to measure the difference in their powers first. If they rationally forfeited, they could retain their strength to contend for a lower-ranked arena. If they insisted on challenging and incurred injuries and depletion they could not rapidly recover from, they might have to leave the battle of 10,000 tribes empty-handed. The three little ones nodded in unison. Although not being able to clash with more opponents was a bit regrettable for them since their strength had only recently advanced. The fact that they could more easily obtain the evolution materials for Xian and Star was undoubtedly a good thing. Once the light film dissipated, the situation was much as Su-Ran had anticipated. The figures that were previously standing outside the arena, waiting for their turn to challenge, had not increased. Instead, there were only a sparse one or two remaining. When they caught Su-Ran's gaze, even these few indecisive waiters seemed to make up their minds, turning away to head to other arenas. This left no challengers waiting to fight for the throne. "Completely free," Su-Ran commented upon seeing this and casually spread his hands towards the three little ones. He then casually sat down cross-legged on the spot. Even without the dense energy and the aura of life within the light film, being a part of the sky-touching mysterious wood, the Leaf Arena had its own abundant energy along with a faint fragrance that could stabilize emotions. It was an excellent place for meditation. Slowly closing his eyes, Su-Ran entered a state of meditation in front of countless spectators and contestants. The three little ones stood guard around him, assuming protective stances, and quietly waited. Compared to the life-and-death struggles happening on other arenas, especially the top 10, the scene on Leaf Arena number 3 was quite peculiar. So much so that many spectators, while watching other battles, couldn't help but sneak glances at Arena number 3. This guy, he's not really going to meditate until the end of the contest, is he? Time ticked by, second by second. In the top 10 Leaf arenas, barring number 3, almost every single one had undergone more than 10 bouts of combat. Among these arenas, there were few where the Lord had not changed. Chapter 541, 296. You're telling me this is a little turtle. Chapter 541, Chapter 296. You're telling me this is a little turtle, /. Compared to the fierce competition on the other platforms, Leaf Fighting Platform number 3 seemed to possess a tranquil peace from years past. The meditating Su-Ran, the guarding three little ones, and the empty challengers platform all seemed as if they would continue this way until the end of the competition. However, things were clearly not going to go so smoothly. With the appearance of three night bears, cloaked in gray-black fur, slowly climbing up and only now having reached the top 10 area, a new storm was imminent. The three night bears had missed the moment when Xian and Can-Can had splendidly shown their might. At present, they were completely unaware of Su-Ran's strength. It was evident that they did not care much about the strength of their opponent. This is the confidence of a quasi-emperor species. They were in no hurry to seize the platform immediately, for it was within their reach whenever they desired. After reaching the top 10 layers, the three night bears communicated briefly before the two weaker ones headed straight for 6th Leaf Blade Arena. The 6th Leaf Blade Arena offered rewards suitable for the dark attribute, making it ideal for them. The third bear, who was the strongest of the trio, made its way directly towards Leaf Fighting Platform number 3. The sight caused the audience to burst into heated debate once again. It wasn't easy. It was way too difficult. Finally, there was a contender to break Su-Ran's defense of the platform. For some reason, seeing other contenders fighting tooth and nail while Su-Ran meditated calmly, even the audience felt somewhat irritated. This night bear's arrival was just in time. The three guardians beside Su-Ran quickly sensed the night bear's presence and woke Su-Ran immediately. Slowly opening his eyes, a hint of helplessness appeared on Su-Ran's face. If possible, he really wanted to meditate this way until the battle of 10,000 tribes ended, then make a swift getaway with the evolution materials for his two pet beasts. Yet the appearance of the night bear was also within his expectations. "Let Star perform this time," Su-ran said with a stretch before sitting up on Star's back, then took down the rewrapped long saber and slowly uncovered its cloth. The final moments of the battle against broken Jade Kite saw Su-ran wrap the cloth around the saber with flair, and now unwrapping it proved to be quite the hassle. As it turned out, showmanship comes with a price. "Xilu Tilda, leave it to me." Star neighed with an excitement that could not be hidden in its eyes. This was its debut after obtaining its first 4-star skill, a rare opportunity that had to be seized. Xian and Kankan naturally understood Star's feelings. Among the three, indeed only Star had yet to make a move in the battle of 10,000 tribes. Therefore, the other two happily left together, heading towards the platform reserved for spectators. Su-ran's choice, as observed by countless spectators, sparked another wave of hot debate. Undoubtedly, whether it was Xian's explosive output or Kankan's conspicuous large body type, both left a deep impression on them. Inevitably, they were also a bit curious about the third pet beast besides Su-ran. Where there's a first and second, there must be a third. What kind of strength did this third pet beast possess? Looking at the person and horse standing on the platform, everyone's eyes were full of inquiry and curiosity. Finally, the night bear made its way lazily onto leaf-fighting platform number 3, atop the sky-reaching pillar. It glanced at Su-ran and Star before them, with a hint of disdain flashing in its eyes. The beast master, it had encountered them before. Their reliance was on nothing more than a greater number of pet beasts, winning by sheer quantity. With only one pet beast allowed in the battle, it wouldn't be its match. If the human had sent out the pet beast that had previously thundered down Lei Jing with astonishing speed, it would have been more cautious. But as for this one in front of it, being of the same dark attribute, it could sense the opponent's general situation. It seemed that this was not a dark attribute pet beast adept at dealing damage. What were those contenders doing before its arrival? How could they have let such a person successfully hold the arena? The night bear grumbled in its heart, as a towering fighting spirit swiftly rose in its eyes. No matter what, it had taken control over leaf-fighting platform number 3. "Roar! Humans, come and fight!" Swiping a claw in Su-ran's direction, the night bear instantly transformed into a pitch-black afterimage, lunging toward Su-ran. Contrasted with its sluggish performance climbing the sky-reaching pillar before, it was now so fast that it was almost invisible, and within just a few breaths, it had closed the distance to a few hundred meters from Su-ran. 3-star skill, Halo-level Shadow Step. This night bear came at just the right time. The 3 little ones guarding Su-ran quickly sensed the situation with the night bear and immediately woke Su-ran. Slowly opening his eyes, Su-ran's face bore a hint of helplessness. If possible, he really wished to meditate until the end of the battle of 10,000 tribes, successfully obtain the evolution materials for the 2 pet beasts, and then make his escape. But the appearance of the night bear was also within his expectations. "Let Star handle it this time," Su-ran stretched languidly, flipped over to sit on Star's back, then took down the long blade he had reslung across his back, slowly unwrapping the cloth covering it. As suave as Su-ran was in wrapping the blade with cloth in the final moments of his battle with the broken Jade Kite, unwrapping it now was just as troublesome. As it turns out, showing off comes at a cost. "Xilu Tilda, leave it to me." Star neighed, hardly concealing the excitement in its eyes. This was its first debut after acquiring a 4-star skill, a rare opportunity it must seize. Xian and Kankan naturally understood Star's feelings, and among the 3 little ones, only Star had not yet taken action in the battle of 10,000 tribes. Thus, the 2 little ones cheerfully paired up to leave, heading to the spectator platform to watch the battle. Su-ran's choice, observed by countless spectators, once again ignited a fierce debate. Without a doubt, whether it was Xian's explosive offense or Kankan's strikingly large body type, both left a deep impression on them. Inevitably, they grew curious about the third pet beast that appeared beside Su-ran. If there's a first and a second, then there must be a third. What kind of strength would this third pet beast have? Looking at the figure of a man and a horse standing on the platform, everyone's gaze was filled with inquiry and curiosity. At the top of the sky-reaching pillar, the night bear finally lumbered onto leaf-fighting platform number 3. It glanced at Su-ran and Star in front of it, a trace of disdain flashing in its eyes. The night bear had encountered beast masters before. What they relied on was nothing more than a greater number of pet beasts, winning by quantity. In a situation where only one pet beast could be dispatched, it wouldn't be a match for the bear. If the human in front of it had sent out the same pet beast that had previously traversed Lei Jing with astonishing speed, it might have been a bit more cautious, but as for the one in front of it now, being of the same dark attribute, it could sense the general condition of its opponent. This didn't seem to be a dark attribute pet beast known for its offensive skills. What were those contestants doing before it arrived? How did such a person manage to successfully defend the arena? The night bear grumbled in its heart as a towering fighting spirit swiftly rose in its eyes. No matter what, it had taken control over leaf fighting platform number 3. Roar! Humans, come and fight. Swiping a claw in Su Ran's direction, the night bear instantly transformed into a pitch-black afterimage, lunging toward Su Ran. Contrasted with its sluggish performance climbing the sky-reaching pillar before, it was now so fast that it was almost invisible, and within just a few breaths, it had closed the distance to a few hundred meters from Su Ran. 3-star skill, Halo-level Shadow Step. Chapter 542, 297. Reward obtained, unexpected surprise. Chapter 542, Chapter 297. Reward obtained, unexpected surprise. Please refresh during the day for possible revisions after initial release. Looking at the lingering dust, the audience members widened their eyes and furrowed their brows in tension, as if waiting for the curtain to rise on an extraordinary spectacle. On one side was one of the 3 Quasi Emperors of the renowned monster Wooden Domain. Without any members of the Beast Emperor Sky-reaching Chuanmu present, they were, by default, the dominant existence just below the sovereign and above all spirits in their realm. The other was the owner of the foster shop, who had struck twice in succession, each time with a different pet beast, each one astonishing the audience in turn. The only unknown in this match was that Su Ran had sent out a 3rd pet beast that had not yet appeared in the competition. So, who gained the advantage in their first clash? As the dust slowly cleared amidst the engulfing haze, the audience, gripped by both tension and anticipation, couldn't help but grow more puzzled. It was too quiet. Normally, a collision between the two sides would generate an energy storm enough to disperse the dust. However, it now dissipated far too slowly, as if there had been no further movement after that initial contact. What had happened? Curiosity swelled within the hearts of the spectators, and finally, the dust faded enough to reveal the scene inside. Seeing the current state of the man and his pet beast opposite the night bear, the competition grounds fell abruptly silent. Then a stir erupted. Su Ran held a long knife, its sharp tip nearly touching between the eyes of the night bear. The blade's fierceness had pierced through the bear's thick and incredibly defensive fur, revealing a hint of flesh beneath. The night bear, stripped of its usual fierceness and combativeness, stood rigidly still, with a look of terror in its dark eyes, as though frozen in fear. "You've lost," Su Ran slowly withdrew the knife, calmly regarding the night bear. The process of the collision was actually quite simple. The star's prayer of Starry Night easily withstood the night bear's strongest attack, and Su Ran struck with a slash, stopping at the last moment, fixating the blade on a vital spot between the night bear's eyebrows. Roar! Once the knife was withdrawn, the night bear shuddered violently, its eyes turning to Su Ran now colored with anger and unwillingness. But ultimately, it turned its massive body and stepped down from leaf fighting platform number 3. In that moment when the long knife swung towards it, the bear truly felt caught in an inescapable trap, as though awaiting death itself. As though the knife had once cut down transcendent beings far more powerful than itself. As a member of the Quasi Emperor class, and the strongest within its same stage peers, this was the first time in the night bear's life that death had felt so close. Even after stepping off the platform, the night bear had not fully escaped the chilling shadow of that moment. With a fierce shake of its head, it sluggishly made its way towards the adjacent 6th Leaf Blade arena. This year, only 3 members of the Night Bear tribe had entered the battle of 10,000 tribes at the general level. It was the strongest of the trio, with the other 2 on par with each other. Therefore, as they had prepared beneath the sky-reaching pillar, it had been decided unanimously that it would claim the reward of leaf fighting platform number 3, while the other 2 would take turns to win the prize of the 6th Leaf Blade arena. In the end, the winner of the 2 would decide the ownership of the 6th Leaf Blade arena through a duel, while the one who lost would head for one of the platforms numbered 10 or higher. In this way, their tribe could claim 2 of the top 10 Leaf Arena rewards, upholding the reputation of the Quasi-Emperor tribe. However, things didn't go as expected, because it had been defeated, cleanly, decisively, without ambiguity. The 2 Night Bears on the 6th Leaf Blade Arena, also of the same race, had witnessed the battle of their fellow tribesmen. Unlike the fate of the Great Night Bear, their battle had gone smoothly, with one of the Night Bears effortlessly securing the 6th Leaf Blade Arena. But seeing their Great Bear approaching them, they already knew its intention. With a resigned glance at each other, they stepped down from the arena, conceding the 6th Leaf Blade Arena to their leader, and made their way towards the platforms below number 10. Among the 11th to 20th, there were still 2 platforms offering dark attribute rewards, and both of them could secure 1 each by fighting. Roar Tilda. As he gave his departing companions a glance of apology, the Great Night Bear suddenly turned its head toward a certain direction in the stands. Shortly thereafter, an expression of self-reproach and guilt quickly surfaced on its face. In the stands, a powerful creature enshrouded in a blackness as deep as ink, its body swirling with dark mist, sat hunched over on its front paws at the finest spot in the stands. Its form was not large, appearing to be only about 3 meters in height, but its aura was as bottomless as an abyss, seemingly able to swallow all probing powers without trace. Even the presence of a beast king-level entity would feel compelled to silence in its sight. The clan leader of the Night Bear Quasi-Emperor tribe, the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor. This was the Night Bear's evolutionary form, an existence of the Overlord stage, the Emperor amongst its kind. Watching the most capable member of its tribe within the general stage fall so swiftly at Leaf Arena number 3, only to dejectedly make its way to the 6th Leaf Blade Arena, the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor withdrew its gaze, its face devoid of both sadness and joy. The human beast master had won his earlier 2 bouts, and the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor had watched them too. Chapter 543, 297, Reward in Hand, Unexpected Change. Chapter 543, Chapter 297, Reward in Hand, Unexpected Change /. Thus, it was neither surprised nor overly concerned by the defeat of its younger kin. The opponent was indeed stronger. It was just regrettable to lose that precious dark-type resource. Wu Tilda. This human boy, however, is quite remarkable. A deep, throaty call emanated from the side of the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor. It was a feathered dragon whose body shimmered with bright green patterns, and who bore 6 pairs of turquoise-golden wings on its back. Unlike the traditional scaled dragon type, it had a dragon's body but no scales, covered instead with feathers. Only around its turquoise-golden eyes was there a ring of golden scales, adding a touch of stunning beauty. Matching its striking appearance was its strength, which was on par with that of the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor. This was the clan leader of the Blue-Feathered Dragon clan, one of the 3 great Quasi-Emperor ranks, the Gold-Blue Dragon. Compared to the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor's placid disposition, the Gold-Blue Dragon's beautiful eyes showed a strong and keen interest. Wu Tilda. All 3 of his pet beasts seemed to possess 4-star skills, especially the first one, which had more than 1 4-star skill. As an emperor species that had completed its 2nd evolution, the Gold-Blue Dragon was all too familiar with the potency of 4-star skills, and it had already discerned the full extent of the 3 young ones' abilities from a mere observation. And that was what intrigued it the most. How could it possess 4-star skills without having evolved? Sus Tilda. The one that received a response from the Beast Emperor was his Earth attribute pet beast. Another voice sounded at this moment. It came from the last of the 3 Quasi-Emperors, a giant tortoise covered in rocks. Its body spanned more than 300 meters, roughly the size of Cancan's original form at the moment. However, unlike Cancan, it was entirely tortoise-like without any dragon features, and its rocky shell was speckled with the mottled signs of age, suggesting it had lived for an exceedingly long time. Overlord stage Emperor species, the tortoise of longevity. Whether it was the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor or the Gold-Blue Dragon, respect was evident in their eyes as they looked toward the tortoise of longevity. In terms of strength, the tortoise of longevity was the least among the 3. But in status, the tortoise of longevity was subtly regarded as the most revered. That's because this tortoise of longevity was the earliest follower of the Beast Emperor Skyreaching Xuanmu. It is said that, when the sky-touching mysterious wood was still a sapling, this old tortoise liked to lie beneath it to rest. The two supported each other through the years, sharing a bond of profound affection. And the tortoise of longevity was the only being that could communicate with the Beast Emperor at any time. Even now, when the Beast Emperor often fell into silence, the tortoise of longevity could still always get a response. Of course, the tortoise of longevity did not abuse this closeness to heedlessly disturb the sky-touching mysterious wood, whose state was worsening day by day, and only sought its opinion when necessary. Also because of this, the tortoise of longevity represented the will of the Beast Emperor sky-reaching Xuanmu to a certain degree. The always silent dark abyss Bear Emperor spoke for the first time. Roar tilde. Is it because that Earth attribute pet beast bears a resemblance to someone you know? Amusement flickered in the eyes of the tortoise of longevity as it nodded slightly and then shook its head. It was partially aware of the situation that day. Familiar with the sky-touching mysterious wood, it knew that the reason for Cancan's awakening was partly due to the fact that it was also an Earth attribute transcendental creature of the tortoise kind, boasting such an exaggerated body type, and partly due to sensing Cancan's astonishing potential. The tortoise of longevity itself also harbored a certain fondness for Cancan. Beyond the innate affinity shared by creatures of the same attribute, it felt an indescribable closeness to Cancan, as if the latter were a relative it had never met. However, having lived for such a long time, the tortoise of longevity had too many kin, real and otherwise, to be certain of their connection. In any case, it felt a considerable affinity for that Earth attribute pet beast. Wu tilde. What a pity. Seeing the expression of the tortoise of longevity, the gold-blue dragon shook its head slightly, a hint of disappointment in its eyes. It had wanted to find the creature and uncover the secret of how it had acquired 4-star skills prematurely. But since the tortoise of longevity and the Beast Emperor himself had taken interest, it would be best not to attempt anything rash. Shaking its head, the gold-blue dragon put aside a certain thought and swiftly changed the topic. Whoa! Why did the Beast Emperor ask us to preside over the battle of 10,000 tribes this time? The Battle of 10,000 Tribes was an event that occurred annually. For the 3 overlord stage quasi-emperors, it was a game of contention among the younger generations, not something that merited too much attention. Occasionally, 1 or 2 would make an appearance but never to oversee the entire event. For all 3 to appear and preside over the entire duration was unprecedented. And this was at the request of the Beast Emperor sky-reaching Xuanmu in advance. The request was somewhat inexplicable, and now the 3rd day had come, the gold-blue dragon could not resist asking about the reasoning. Upon hearing this question, the dark abyss Bear Emperor also turned its gaze toward the tortoise of longevity. It too wanted to hear the tortoise of longevity's explanation. Since the sky-touching mysterious wood had stopped the supply of mystical wood dew, the atmosphere in the monster wooden domain had begun to shift subtly. Even this instance of the battle of 10,000 tribes had started to exhibit changes not seen in previous years. All this was something the tortoise of longevity should be most aware of among them. But this old creature was very tight-lipped, never letting slip the slightest hint. Faced with the inquiring gazes of the other 2 quasi-emperors, the tortoise of longevity showed a trace of helplessness in its eyes. This wasn't their first attempt to probe the situation with the Beast Emperor. Chapter 544-297, Reward Obtained, Unexpected Surprise. Chapter 544, Chapter 297, Reward Obtained, Unexpected Surprise /. And although it knew some things, these things were absolutely not to be revealed. After pondering for a moment, the tortoise of longevity slowly opened its mouth. SSS tilde. All I can say is that in the near future, the monster wooden domain might face a significant crisis. If it manages to endure, the monster wooden domain will witness new developments. However, if it fails to do so, the entire monster wooden domain might cease to exist. And during the battle of 10,000 tribes, it is when the crisis is most likely to occur. Hearing such words from the tortoise of longevity, the other 2 quasi-emperors exchanged a look and fell silent. As clever as they were, they quickly thought of something, and their expressions grew solemn. Is the catastrophe upon us? Utterly unaware of the profound conversation happening between the 3 quasi-emperors, Su Ran, after repelling the night bear, once again carelessly sat cross-legged on the leaf arena and resumed the meditation that had been interrupted before. The 3 little ones encircled him, guarding Su Ran. From the way Star Owl held his head higher than before, it was clear that the newly acquired 4-star skill had played a significant role, boosting its confidence. It had finally caught up with the other two little ones. For the following time, no challengers appeared on Leaf Fighting Platform number 3. Anyone could see that among the tough nuts to crack, Suran was certainly the toughest. Rather than stepping up to try, it was better to look for opportunities on other platforms. And the audience also gradually got used to the unique scenery of Leaf Fighting Platform number 3. With all three pet beasts showing such formidable strength, Suran certainly had the right to meditate audaciously in the battle of 10,000 tribes. But, remembering that this man was the owner of a foster shop, the audience still harbored an indescribable emotion. They had seen ridiculous things, but nothing as ridiculous as this. Eventually, the battle of 10,000 tribes came to an end, amidst a familiar rustling sound. The intense competition for the arenas drew to a close. 100 leaf arenas each found their masters, and the rewards hidden within those arenas slowly dissipated the energy shrouding them, revealing their true form. On Leaf Fighting Platform number 3, 1 man and 3 beasts surrounded the newly appeared Extreme Source Vein Crystal. The Extreme Source Vein Crystal was a piece of light purple, clear crystal, with sharp protuberances like a sea urchin on its surface. Inside it, one could see a silver-white droplet flowing slowly. Mere proximity allowed the man and 3 beasts to feel its powerful energy. That was a force beyond the level of the king stage, dense and strong. Xian felt its fighting attribute power crazily surging, a primal longing for life making it almost unable to resist the urge to devour the resource in one gulp. Undoubtedly, this resource would be of great help to it. No wonder, then, that it was one of the main materials for evolving into an emperor species. Sensing Xian's impulse, Suran stretched out a hand to stop it and took out an already prepared resource storage box to carefully put away the Extreme Source Vein Crystal. The moment the box closed, the energy was completely blocked inside. Xian shook its head and regained its composure. After securing the box, Suran smiled. "All right, let's go claim the other reward," he said. However, seeing their leader approaching, the 2 night bears already knew what he intended. With a resigned look at each other, they voluntarily stepped down from the arena, giving up the 6th Leaf Blade arena to their leader, and headed towards the platforms numbered beyond 10. Among platforms number 11 to 20, there were 2 more that awarded Dark-type rewards. They could each claim 1 if they acted. Roar Tilda. Watching its leaving companions with a hint of guilt, the leader of the Night Bears suddenly had a premonition and turned sharply to look in a certain direction of the stands. Immediately after, a look of self-reproach and guilt swiftly crossed its face. In the stands, a powerful figure, black as ink and enveloped in dark fog, had its front paws crossed and was seated at the best spot available. The creature wasn't large, about 3 meters tall, yet the aura it exuded was unfathomably deep, as if it could swallow all probing forces whole. Even the existence at the Beast King level had to remain silent in its presence. The clan leader of the Night Bear lineage, the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor. This was the Night Bear's evolutionary form, an overlord stage emperor species being. Watching the most excellent general-level member of its clan fall so quickly on Leaf Arena number 3, then scurrying to the 6th, the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor withdrew its gaze, its expression neither sad nor joyful. The human beast master's previous 2 battles had also been witnessed by the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor. As such, although surprised at the defeat of its kin, it wasn't overly so. The opponent was indeed stronger. It was a pity about that precious dark attribute resource. Tilda. This human kid does have some peculiarities. A low growl came from the side of the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor. It was a feathered dragon, its body shimmering with bright green patterns, and 6 pairs of azure gold wings on its back. Unlike the traditional scale dragon type, it had the body of a dragon but no scales, covered in feathers instead, and only around the azure gold eyes were there rings of golden scales, giving it an even more striking appearance. As splendid as its appearance was the fact that its strength rivaled that of the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor. It was the clan leader of another one of the 3 major Quays Emperor clans, the Blue Feather Dragon clan, the Gold Blue Dragon. Chapter 545-297, Reward Obtained, Unexpected Surprise. Chapter 545, Chapter 297, Reward Obtained, Unexpected Surprise /. Compared to the calmness of the dark abyss bear emperor, a strong interest flashed in the beautiful eyes of the gold-blue dragon. Wu Tilda. His three pet beasts seemed to have mastered 4-star skill, especially the first one, who had more than one 4-star skill. As an emperor species that had completed its second evolution, the gold-blue dragon was all too familiar with the strength of 4-star skills. With just a distant observation, it had already discerned the depth of the three little ones. And this was the most curious point for it. Without evolution, how could they possess 4-star skills? SSS Tilda. It was his Earth attribute pet beast that had received a response from the Beast Emperor not long ago. Another voice at this moment came through. It belonged to the last of the three Quasi Emperors, a giant tortoise covered all over with rocks. Its body type was over 300 meters, close to Kankan's current primeval body type. However, compared to Kankan, its form was entirely that of a tortoise, devoid of any dragon traits. Its rocky shell bore the mottled marks of many years, suggesting it had lived for a very long time. Overlord Stage Emperor Species, Tortoise of Longevity. As the gaze turned to the Tortoise of Longevity, both the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor and the Gold-Blue Dragon showed a bit more respect in their eyes. In terms of strength, among the three, the Tortoise of Longevity could only be considered the weakest. But in status, the three generally held the Tortoise of Longevity in the highest regard. Because this Tortoise of Longevity was the earliest follower of the Beast Emperor Skyreaching Xuanmu. It was said that when the Skyreaching mysterious wood was still but a sapling, this old turtle liked to rest beneath it. The two supported each other throughout the journey and shared a bond of exceptional depth. And the Tortoise of Longevity was also the only one who could communicate with the Beast Emperor at any time. Even now, when the Beast Emperor frequently fell into silence, the Tortoise of Longevity was still able to get a response each time. Of course, the Tortoise of Longevity would not abuse this kinship to easily disturb the sky-reaching mysterious wood, whose condition was deteriorating. It would only seek its opinion when necessary. Also because of this special bond, the Tortoise of Longevity represented the will of the Beast Emperor Sky-reaching Xuanmu to a certain extent. For the first time, the always silent Dark Abyss Bear Emperor spoke up. Roar Tilda. Is it because that Earth attribute pet beast has a form that you recognize? A trace of mirth appeared in the eyes of the Tortoise of Longevity as it nodded slightly, then shook its head. It was somewhat aware of that day's events. The Tortoise of Longevity, familiar with the sky-reaching mysterious wood, knew that Kankan had awakened it partly because it, too, was a transcendent being of the Earth attribute turtle kind with such an exaggerated body type, and on the other hand, it was because it sensed Kankan's astonishing potential. As for the Tortoise of Longevity itself, it also held a certain fondness for Kankan. Apart from the natural affinity shared by those of the same attribute, it also vaguely sensed an indescribable kinship from Kankan. It seemed as if Kankan was kin it had never met before. However, having lived for such a long time, the Tortoise of Longevity had encountered too many kin of all sorts, so it could not be certain. Nevertheless, that Earth attribute pet beast made it feel warmly close. Wu Tilda. What a pity. Seeing the expression of the Tortoise of Longevity, the gold-blue dragon shook its head, its eyes showing a hint of disappointment. Originally, it wanted to seek out the other party to uncover the secret of how they had mastered 4-star skills ahead of time. But since the Tortoise of Longevity and the Beast Emperor were paying attention to it, it would be best not to attempt lightly. Shaking its head, the gold-blue dragon quenched a certain thought in its mind, and then quickly changed the subject. Wu, why has the Beast Emperor asked us to preside over the battle of 10,000 tribes this time? In the past, the battle of 10,000 tribes commenced yearly. For the three Overlord Stage Quasi-Emperors, it was a minor quarrel amongst the younger generation, and they did not pay too much attention. If one or two of them showed up, they would not stay throughout. For all three to appear simultaneously and preside over the entire event was unprecedented. And this was all because the Beast Emperor Sky-touching Xuanmu had made an advance request. The request was somewhat inexplicable, and now that it was already the third day, the gold-blue dragon could not help but inquire about the specifics. Hearing this question, the Dark Abyss Bear Emperor likewise turned its gaze toward the Tortoise of Longevity. It too wanted to hear the explanation from the Tortoise of Longevity. After the Beast Emperor Sky-touching Xuanmu had temporarily stopped the supply of mystical wood dew, the atmosphere throughout the monster wooden domain had gradually begun to change. Even in this session of the Battle of 10,000 Tribes, there had been some changes that weren't usually present. Of all these changes, the Tortoise of Longevity should have been the most aware amongst the three of them. But this old fellow was very tight-lipped, not letting slip the slightest hint. Facing the probing gazes of the other two Quays emperors, the Tortoise of Longevity's eyes showed a trace of helplessness. This wasn't the first time the other two had tried to probe into the state of affairs regarding the Beast Emperor. Although it was privy to some information, this was absolutely not to be divulged. After pondering for a moment, the Tortoise of Longevity began to speak slowly. Sitilda, all I can say is that there may soon be a considerable crisis emerging in the monster wooden domain. If we successfully weather it, the monster wooden domain will see new development, but if we cannot endure it, the entire monster wooden domain might well cease to exist. And during the Battle of 10,000 Tribes is when the crisis is most likely to arrive. Hearing the Tortoise of Longevity speak in such a way, the other two Quays emperors exchanged a glance and fell into silence. As intelligent as they were, they quickly made some inferences and their expressions became grave. Is the catastrophe approaching? Unaware that the three Quays emperors were engaged in such a serious exchange, Suran, who had just fended off the night bear once again, carelessly sat cross-legged on the leaf arena, continuing the meditation that had been interrupted before. Three little pet beasts guarded the periphery, protecting Suran. The Waystar Owl's head was held higher than before, showed that the newly acquired 4-star skill had been effective in the recent battle, giving it significant confidence. It had finally caught up with the pace of the other two little ones. In the time that followed, no more challengers appeared on Leaf Fighting Platform number 3. Anyone could see that among all the tough opponents, Suran was certainly the toughest to crack. Instead of making an attempt on that platform, it would be better to seek opportunities on other arenas. And the audience had gradually become accustomed to the unique scene on Leaf Fighting Platform number 3. With all three pet beasts displaying such formidable strength, Suran indeed had every right to meditate so casually during the Battle of 10,000 Tribes. Only, considering that this man's identity was that of a foster shop owner, the audience still harbored an indescribable sentiment. They had seen the outrageous, but never something quite this outrageous. Ultimately, the Battle of 10,000 Tribes drew to a close amidst a familiar rustling sound. The intensely combative tournament had come to a halt. 100 leaf arenas each had found their masters, and the leaf rewards hidden within the leaf arenas revealed their true forms as the energy shrouding them dissipated one by one. On Leaf Fighting Platform number 3, a man and his three pet beasts had surrounded the newly emerged Extreme Source Vein Crystal. The Extreme Source Vein Crystal was a clear, light purple crystal with sharp protrusions on its surface, resembling that of a sea urchin. At its very core, one could see a thread of silvery white liquid slowly circulating. Just by getting close, the man and his three pet beasts could feel its powerful energy. It was the power of a resource that exceeded the king stage level, rich and potent. Xian felt its fighting attribute power surge wildly, a visceral longing for life making it want to swallow the resource whole without hesitation. Undoubtedly, this resource would be of great benefit to it. It's no wonder that it was one of the main materials for evolving into an emperor species. Sensing Xian's intention, Suran stretched out a hand to stop it and took out a resource storage box he had prepared earlier, carefully storing the Extreme Source Vein Crystal. As the box closed, the energy was completely sealed within. Xian shook its head, returning to normal. After stowing the box away, Suran smiled. All right, let's go and claim the other resource. Chapter 546, 298, Beast Field Number 8, Sudden Change. Chapter 546, Chapter 298, Beast Field Number 8, Sudden Change. The 4-day-long Battle of 10,000 Tribes reached its final and most spectacular day, as today's contenders were all powerful fighters from the king stage. Even the sky-reaching pillar, formed by the body of the sky-touching mysterious wood, appeared much more majestic and spectacular than in previous days, having reached a second instance of its size by comparison. Therefore, the audience that came to the Battle of 10,000 Tribes today was the largest of the 4 days. After Suran and his 3 little companions were seated, the previously empty seats around them were quickly filled with humans and wild transcendent beings. Judging by the excited discussions, They were all looking forward to the upcoming matches. Accompanied by the howling of the wind, a figure like Green Jade landed beside the one human and three pets, its sharp claws capable of tearing through metal and stone tightly grasping the branches, standing calmly. Looking at the broken Jade kite, which had been defeated by Xian the previous day, Su Ran's face showed a hint of surprise. Why had it come to his side? The broken Jade kite glanced at Xian with a hint of wariness, then let out a low chirping sound. This chirping was not a simple beast cry. It was mixed with some obscure and complex syllables, giving it an odd rhythmic sense. To his surprise, Su Ran found that through this rhythmic sense, he could understand the other party's meaning to some extent. Human, did you also come to the 47th beast field from someplace else? Indeed, Su Ran nodded frankly. For him, his original home was Kingju City, located in the 97th beast field, which was indeed an outsider to the 47th beast field. Upon hearing this, the broken Jade kite showed an expression of as I thought. After being defeated by Xian yesterday and returning, it couldn't figure out why such a powerful figure had suddenly emerged, disrupting its plan to acquire resources. Moreover, possessing 4-star skills while being of a king species didn't sound like something that should exist in a beast emperor level beast field. After some thought, the broken Jade kite came to the only possibility it could think of, that the other party, harboring a similar purpose, likewise came from a place beyond the beast emperor level beast fields. Upon inquiring briefly about Su Ran, and learning that Su Ran had also arrived in the monster wooden domain within the past 2 months, the broken Jade kite became more certain of its speculation. Now it had received confirmation from Su Ran's own mouth. After answering the broken Jade kite's question, Su Ran looked at it. Why do you ask? And you used also, which suggests you're not from the 47th beast field either, are you? Hearing Su Ran's inquiry, the broken Jade kite slightly lifted its head with a bit of pride in its eyes and chirped again. Correct, I like you, come from the 8th beast field. You must be a human from Broken Abyss City, right? Have you ever heard of the Liu Saint clan? Wait a second. Su Ran suddenly raised his hand to interrupt, then rubbed his brow. That was a lot to take in. When he had first learned the significance of the beast fields from Gu Wu, he had been told that the top 10 beast fields were beast saint level fields, inhabited by formidable beings of the saint rank, places of extreme danger. The 8th beast field was among them. Further understanding had granted Su Ran more information. He was currently living in a country called Shining Holy Kingdom. This kingdom was very, very large and unlike the nations of his past life, resembling more a federation composed of human cities of various sizes, governed by the sole first-level capital, Broken Abyss City. The Shining Holy Kingdom wasn't the only country in the world. Within its domain, there was only one of the top 10 beast fields, the 8th beast field. As for the situation beyond the Shining Holy Kingdom and the other 9 beast saint-level fields, to Su Ran, it was still a blank slate. So this broken Jade kite came from the 8th beast field, and its background was not minor. Liu Saint clan. Couldn't Saint clan mean a clan that has a saint-rank transcendent being? Su Ran couldn't help taking a few more glances at the broken Jade kite. He knew that it had a mysterious origin, but he hadn't expected it to be so mysterious. And because of his own answer, the other party seemed to have mistaken him for someone from Broken Abyss City. At this moment, Su Ran resisted the urge to reveal the truth. Since the other party believed so, let it continue to believe it a little longer. Having finally encountered a creature of extraordinary origin, he should fish for more information to understand more about the 8th beast field in Broken Abyss City. The 3 little ones who shared Su Ran's mind seemed to understand intuitively. Each quickly lowered their heads, trying hard not to let the broken Jade kite see their stifled smiles. You guessed right, but I don't know much about the Liu Saint clan. Su Ran posed with a similarly proud attitude, hands clasped behind his back, and spoke deliberately. HMPH tilde. The broken Jade kite let out a low hum, dissatisfaction flickering in its eyes, but it didn't say more. Within the 8th beast field, there was more than one beast saint in charge. At that level, their relations with the humans' beast saints weren't completely about life and death enmity. The relationships were quite complex. As Su Ran had speculated, the broken Jade kite belonged to the Liu Saint clan, and the clan's strongest member was actually a saint spirit rank transcendent being known as Liu Beast Saint. The Liu Beast Saint didn't have much interaction with Broken Abyss City, so it was normal for humans to be unaware of it and its species. Our clan's beast saint strength is unfathomable. Even among the 11 beast saints of the 8th beast field, it ranks in the upper tier, bragged the broken Jade kite. It has clashed with the killing spirit saint from your broken abyss city without falling behind. Chapter 547, 298, Beast Field Number 8, Sudden Change. Chapter 547, Chapter 298, Beast Field Number 8, Sudden Change /. Good, keep talking. Suran applauded the broken Jade kite madly in his heart, while secretly alarmed. Could there really be as many as 11 beast saints in the 8th beast field? Just consider, the beast emperor in the 47th beast field probably doesn't even have that many. Su Ran's only impression of saint-rank transcendent beings remained from what he had seen previously at the Transcendent Evolution Department of the Beast Master Association in Xi'an City. It was the scene of the evolution of the number 1 pet beast of the saint rank in the brilliant Holy Kingdom, and that mysterious and powerful wheel of life of the saint spirit had become the most profound memory Su Ran had of the saint spirit level transcendent beings. For a moment, Su Ran couldn't help but envision the spectacular sight of wheels of life of the saint spirit piercing through heaven and earth, and his heart surged with excitement. Being able to stand firm in such a powerful beast domain, the strength of Broken Abyss City must also be noteworthy. How powerful could this killing spirit saint be? He couldn't help but sit up straighter, leaning a little closer in the direction of the broken Jade kite, curious to see what other information might jump out of its mouth. However, the broken Jade kite seemed not interested in continuing this topic, shaking its head and issuing a chirp. Forget it, let's not talk about this, Tilda. Since we've all come to the monster wooden domain, our goals should be the same. Has Broken Abyss City also received the news? Upon hearing this, Su Ran's ears perked up instantly. Although the broken Jade kite no longer mentioned the matters of the 8th beast field, leaving him somewhat regretful, the question it raised immediately after was seemingly brimming with information. The broken Jade kite had come to the monster wooden domain a few months ago, roughly around the time the supply of mystical wood dew stopped. Now, mentioning so-called goals, and considering the undercurrents in the monster wooden domain and the hinting words of the beast emperor from yesterday, Su Ran's eyebrows furrowed slightly. He had a feeling that something very important that he was unaware of was about to occur. Ignoring Su Ran's silent contemplation, the broken Jade kite, as if finding a kindred spirit, had never doubted Su Ran's identity and continued speaking on its own accord. Sky-touching mysterious wood is attempting to break through to the beast saint. This holds significant implications, and if it succeeds, it will affect the existing power structure of not only the 8th beast field but also Broken Abyss City. Although it's on our side as a transcendent being, you've seen the situation in the monster wooden domain. After breaking through to the beast saint level, it may not necessarily remain on our side. It's more likely to be neutral. My tribe's beast saint has heard of sky-touching mysterious wood situation. Based on what it said, if sky-touching mysterious wood truly completes its evolution, with order being its attribute post-transition, its future achievements will be boundless. However, my tribe's beast saint is not optimistic about its evolution. The broken Jade kite calmly shook its head. Otherwise, it wouldn't have sent only me here to witness. The humans from Broken Abyss City must really hope that sky-touching mysterious wood successfully evolves, right? After babbling on for a while and yet to receive any response from Su Ran, the broken Jade kite paused slightly, then turned its head to meet Su Ran's stupefied gaze. You don't know, do you? Cough, cough. Su Ran swallowed hard, struggling to digest the even larger influx of information and regain composure. Of course I know. Still, his mind was overwhelmed by towering waves. Sky-touching mysterious wood is going to evolve. Even though he had some vague guesses based on the Earth Raccoon's descriptions, hearing it directly from the broken Jade kite still shocked him. So does that mean the evolution will happen soon? The broken Jade kite was here for this evolution, and the 8th beast field was highly attentive to it. What about Broken Abyss City then? Su Ran couldn't help but feel puzzled. The broken Jade kite had mistaken him for an emissary from Broken Abyss City, but he knew very well he had no relation to Broken Abyss City whatsoever. So, did Broken Abyss City not know about this? At that thought, Su Ran felt a slight sinking feeling. In the broken Jade kite's earlier words, there was also a piece of key information revealed, such as sky-touching mysterious woods intent to make order its attribute after transitioning. The word order was not new to Su-ran. He knew from what the Earth Raccoon had relayed that sky-touching mysterious wood had mentioned it before. But what did attribute post-transition mean? Another question equally perplexed Su-ran. Knowing that sky-touching mysterious wood was about to evolve, he had some speculations concerning the temporary cessation of mystical wood dew's emergence. Just like a young pet beast before its evolution, keeping itself in peak condition, the provision of mystical wood dew was also a drain for sky-touching mysterious wood. Halting the drain could better prepare it for evolution. But why would sky-touching mysterious wood still expend such tremendous energy and strength to maintain the battle of 10,000 tribes if even the supply of mystical wood dew had halted? Su-ran couldn't help but look up at the sky-reaching pillar that towered into the clouds, stretching to the heavens. Was there a special meaning behind such an action? As Su-ran's mind stormed with thoughts, the broken jade kite, because of the change in Su-ran's expression a moment before, began to have some doubts about him. Are you really sent here by Broken Abyss City? Even if a bit slow to catch on, the broken jade kite had sensed something off by now. Ah well, seeing no point in pretending any longer, Su-ran scratched his head awkwardly. All right, I'm not. The broken jade kite. So it had just rambled on all for nothing. Chapter 548, 298, Beast Field Number 8, Sudden Change, 3. Chapter 548, Chapter 298, Beast Field Number 8, Sudden Change, 3. However, you seem to know a lot. Could you tell me more? Su-ran quickly leaned in, flashing a good-natured smile. You, broken jade kite, intended to refuse without hesitation, but it suddenly felt a barely perceptible sense of danger emanating from Xian beside it. Recalling the awful state of yesterday's battle, it quickly became more docile. What do you want to ask? Nothing much. Su-ran amiably patted the back of broken jade kite. You just mentioned that the beast emperor sky-reaching Xuanmu would take order as its attribute after leaping. What does that mean? You don't know about this either. Astonishment tinged broken jade kite's gaze as it looked at Su-ran. Originally, Su-ran denied coming from Broken Abyss City, and broken jade kite simply thought that he was from another power at the same level. But Su-ran's question made broken jade kite suddenly realize that it had completely misjudged the situation. How could someone who has had contact with existences at the saint rank not even know such common knowledge? Pride briefly flitted across its eyes, but quickly subsided under Xian's threatening glare. Transcendent beings evolve from the Emperor species to the Holy Spirit race, experiencing an attribute leap in the process. Their attributes will no longer be the traditional 10 major attributes, but will transform into unique high-level attributes based on their individual comprehension of power and rules. If the 10 major attributes are like a liquid state, then the high-level attributes are like a solid state, entirely different in terms of energy levels, which is why there is an absolute chasm between the Holy Spirit race and the Emperor species. After simply explaining the significance of attribute leap, broken jade kite couldn't help but snort proudly. Now you see how powerful the saint rank is. This kite was born into the holy race. I advise you not to. Su-ran rubbed his chin in deep thought, interrupting casually. Xian. Crackle. Accompanied by a sharp sound of electric arc, broken jade kite became as docile as a quail in an instant. Meanwhile, thanks to broken jade kite's explanation, Su-ran's mind was suddenly brimming with thoughts. It turns out that the 10 major attributes are not the only attributes in the world. They are more like a basis when transcendent beings reach the level of the Holy Spirit race. They evolve from the basic attributes into more powerful advanced attributes. In a flash, Su-ran thought of the power of divine punishment exhibited by Xian, the unique starlight power of the stars, and Kankan's dragon power. Could this be a glimpse into the embryonic form of advanced attributes? Coming to this conclusion, Su-ran massaged his temples. What broken jade kite said should be true. So far, the only saint-rank transcendent being he had ever seen was a nearly breathless image. But now, with the concept of attribute leap, looking back at that image, Su-ran still found some validation. The unknown first spirit of the Radiant Empire showed indeed a starkly different display of powers from its original attributes at the moment of its evolution. And the only way to gain a clearer understanding of this change was one. That was to witness the birth of a Holy Spirit race being with his own eyes. Did the evolution of sky-touching Mysterious Wood take place after the battle of 10,000 tribes? Turning to broken Jade Kite, who seemed to know quite a bit, Suran suddenly asked. Hearing this question, broken Jade Kite's expression turned somewhat unnatural. It seemed very reluctant to answer this question. Meow tilde behave. Xian slowly lifted a paw wrapped in thunder and light, pressing it onto broken Jade Kite, the action filled with intimidation. Broken Jade Kite shuddered, inwardly lamenting but still spoke honestly. It's happening today. What? Suran's pupils slightly dilated. Today, you've got to be joking. He abruptly looked towards the sky-reaching pillar that the sky-touching Mysterious Wood had become, and then at the near-silent true body of the sky-touching Mysterious Wood itself. Today was the last day of the battle of 10,000 tribes. Having spent such significant energy on the battle, why wouldn't the sky-touching Mysterious Wood wait a few days before evolving? Its condition was already poor, and after such extensive energy consumption from the battle, was there really a chance it could successfully evolve? As Suran stood bewildered, the next words from broken Jade Kite answered all of his questions. The battle of 10,000 tribes is the evolution ritual of the sky-touching Mysterious Wood. Since the very first battle of 10,000 tribes, it has been preparing for this evolution. After many rehearsals of the ritual, this time, it's for real. Evolution ritual. Suran was surprised at first, but then understood. He was not unfamiliar with the evolution ritual. The three little ones had gone through their respective evolution rituals, while evolving from the leader species to the king species. And in the future, as they evolve from the king species to the emperor species, the evolution ritual would be unavoidable. The evolution ritual was unpredictable and sometimes illogical, yet paradoxically fitting for the evolutionary process of transcendent beings, significantly enhancing their chances of successful evolution. Upon learning from broken Jade Kite's words that the battle of 10,000 tribes was the evolution ritual of the sky-touching Mysterious Wood, the questions Suran could not understand earlier now had answers. Why did the sky-touching Mysterious Wood stop supplying mystical wood a few months in advance to prepare for its evolution, yet still insisted on holding the battle of 10,000 tribes? Why did the sky-touching Mysterious Wood, yesterday, seem to persuade him to leave this place sooner? Chapter 549-298, Beast Field Number 8, Sudden Change. Chapter 549, Chapter 298, Beast Field Number 8, Sudden Change /. All this was because the evolution of the sky-touching Mysterious Wood was happening today. If the evolution were successful, it would ascend to the Holy Spirit race, destined to be future warriors of saint rank. If broken Jade Kite's words had no issue, then the attribute of the sky-touching Mysterious Wood after evolution would be order. Bearing the order attribute, it was bound to maintain the stable condition of the monster wooden domain, and with its more formidable strength, bring such states to even more places. This was not for other creatures, but for the sky-touching Mysterious Wood itself. Therefore, Suran held a supportive and blessing attitude towards the evolution of the sky-touching Mysterious Wood. Atilda, what a pity. Suddenly, broken Jade Kite, still being held down by Xian, sighed faintly. The sky-touching Mysterious Wood wanting to evolve isn't so simple. Does it have a very low success rate for its evolution? Suran couldn't help but nervously ask. Probably about a 10% success rate. Broken Jade Kite glanced at the sky-touching Mysterious Wood in the distance. It prepared for so long, so a slightly higher success rate is normal. Suran. That success rate can be considered high. Of course, broken Jade Kite glared at Suran. This is the evolution of the Holy Spirit race. Having a 10% success rate is already defying the heavens. Is that so? Suran fell silent for a moment. Then what did you mean by it's not so easy? Tilde, broken Jade Kite suddenly chuckled slyly, because in the 47th beast field, there are also 7 beast emperors. Suran's pupils slightly contracted, and an ominous premonition suddenly arose in his heart. The very next moment, the earth violently trembled. While he had been conversing with broken Jade Kite, the king stage level of the battle of 10,000 tribes had already begun, with mighty beast kings and king-level beast masters clashing in several exchanges. Suran, preoccupied by more pressing matters, had paid no attention to the battle. During that instant, all the king stage competitors halted their fighting at the same time, and along with the audience, which had fallen into dead silence, They looked towards a certain direction with eyes filled with horror and astonishment. A giant dragon with a body length of a kilometer, shimmering in golden brilliance, was approaching step by step. Its presence rose to the skies, agitating all around it, and even though the actual body was still miles away, the overwhelming force came rolling in like a landslide. Furthermore, violent roars and tremors from the earth kept coming with each step of the golden giant dragon, sending the entire monster wooden domain into turmoil. A moment later, shocking exclamations and screams abruptly sounded from the spectator stands, with phrases like "Golden" and "Beast Emperor" faintly discernible. In that instant, Su Ran's expression rapidly changed. In terms of size, the giant beast before him might not even compare to Kankan in its Sumi state, but compared to Kankan's terrifying aura, it was like comparing a tsunami to a small pond. That aura surpassed the reach of a beast king. Even an existence at the Overlord stage would be far inferior. That was the aura of an emperor stage. This one must be the Golden Dragon Emperor from the 47th Beast Field, right? Broken Jade Kite wore an expression that seemed to relish in the unfolding drama. Then, turning resignedly towards Xian, "Can you let me go now? I need to run for my life. If nothing unexpected happens, it's not the only one coming. A clash of beast emperors, a mere echo of their collision alone is enough to obliterate me." "Xian, let it go." Su Ran looked deeply at Broken Jade Kite. "Today's events were all misunderstandings. If I have a chance to visit the 8th Beast Field later, I will pay a visit to your Liuyu Saint clan." The premise being that by then he could win against that Liuyu Beast Saint. Su Ran silently added in his mind, "I don't want to see you again." Broken Jade Kite muttered grumpily, ensuring Xian was no longer holding it down, then immediately flapped its wings violently, speeding away in the direction farthest from the two beast emperors. "Xilu Tilda, what should we do then?" Star let out a whinny, its gaze towards Su Ran filled with inquiry. At this moment, the creatures around were already fleeing in panic, due to the ferocious approach of another beast emperor. The sky-touching mysterious wood did not prevent the creatures of the monster wooden domain from fleeing. Instead, it opened its shelter to them, shielding them from the oppression of the Golden Dragon Emperor's might. "Go," Su Ran didn't hesitate. He took Xian and Kankan and mounted the back of Star. "Let's get to a farther place." The Broken Jade Kite couldn't survive the aftermath of the battle between the two beast emperors, and neither could he. The only plan for now was to get away. But Su Ran didn't want to just leave the monster wooden domain. He wanted to see with his own eyes what it looked like for an emperor species to evolve into a holy spirit race. He wanted to confirm whether the sky-touching mysterious wood could complete its evolution under such difficult circumstances. Screech! A sharp cry, carrying a terrifying sense of oppression and astonishing high temperatures, descended from the heavens, bearing down on the entire monster wooden domain. Under the sweeping heat wave, the originally fertile soil of the monster wooden domain began to dry and crack at a visible rate, with massive amounts of water being evaporated into thin air. A giant bird, enshrouded in golden red flames and shaped like a sun wrapped in firelight, impossible to see clearly, appeared and launched the first probing attack on the monster wooden domain. Beast Emperor number 47 of the Beast Field, the Flaming Crow Emperor. "Go!" Su Ran's pupils shrank as he urged in a low shout. The second Beast Emperor had arrived, who knew if there would still be any hope of escaping if they delayed any longer. "Xilulu Tilda." Star understood the urgency of the situation, neighed fiercely, and with its front hooves raised, sped off towards the direction the Broken Jade Kite had fled for its life. As Star passed by, a torrent of Earth attribute power surged into the sky, clashing heavily with the scorching heat wave that was bearing down from above. The powers of the Fire attribute and Earth attribute collided with each other in the void, their shattered forces entwined, transforming into an unbounded energy storm that lashed out in all directions. In successfully diffusing this probe, the sky-touching mysterious wood shook violently, like a canopy covering the heavens, and a green face quickly emerged in the void, its eyes filled with bewilderment and confusion. "What is the purpose of you two visiting my monster wooden domain?" The Golden Dragon Emperor stopped in its tracks, standing at the edge of the monster wooden domain, with a pair of crimson eyes staring at the face of the sky-touching mysterious wood. Its body was much smaller compared to the sky-touching mysterious wood. However, in their clash of auras, the Golden Dragon Emperor did not seem to be much weaker. With a fierce roar, the intent of the Golden Dragon Emperor swept across in all directions. Sky-touching mysterious wood, do you aspire to become a saint? Become a saint? Who told you that? The face of the sky-touching mysterious wood slowly shook its head. Such a level is not something we can aspire to, is it? The Golden Dragon Emperor was at a loss for words. Upon hearing sky-touching mysterious wood's unequivocal denial, puzzlement also emerged in its eyes. Could it be their information was mistaken? In the next moment, an increasingly massive amount of Earth attribute power suddenly emerged from deep within the ground. It's buying time. The Flaming Crow Emperor let out a sharp cry, like a sun that had suddenly fallen, and charged toward the true body of the sky-touching mysterious wood. Stop it! Streams of gold and red flames swept past, igniting eternal fires that engulfed vast areas of the monster wooden domain in flames in an instant. The Golden Dragon Emperor quickly realized it had almost been deceived. Within its crimson eyes, anger and killing intent surged, and the golden dragon scales gleamed brilliantly as all its power gathered in its dragon claws, striking fiercely toward the ground. Boom! Accompanied by a world-ending boom, about one-tenth of the monster wooden domain turned into soaring dust in this one attack, utterly obliterated. Sensing similarly powerful auras quickly approaching from different directions. After a moment of silence, the sky-touching mysterious wood let out a long sigh. What's the point? Chapter 550-299, Deadwood Meets Spring, the Realm of a Semi-Saint. Chapter 550, Chapter 299, Deadwood Meets Spring, the Realm of a Semi-Saint. Star, we can slow down a bit now. Having fled for God knows how long, and feeling that the earth-shattering commotion behind had become bearable and would no longer reach him, Suran gently patted Star's shoulder, signaling it to slow down. It was unclear whether the broken Jade kite had foreseen this escape route and made ample preparations, as luckily, along the way, Suran and his three little companions managed to avoid any encounters with beast emperors rushing to the scene. Otherwise, whether they could have come out unscathed was an unknown. Glancing at the broken Jade kite in the sky not far away, which had also stopped moving and maintained a distance from him with a hint of wariness, occasionally flapping its wings and looking in the direction of the monster wooden domain, Suran quickly turned his head and looked towards the incessant noises coming from behind. On his first day arriving at the monster wooden domain, under the escort of the king-level beast master Sun Tianqiu, Suran had looked down upon the entire monster wooden domain from the sky. It was like a green emerald inlaid upon the vast land, in stark contrast to the chaotic beast field, full of vibrant life and peaceful order. But at this moment, out of the other 7 beast emperors of the monster wooden domain, a total of 5 had arrived. Even if none of them were a match for the sky-touching mysterious wood alone, their combined force was still peerlessly powerful. In the face of their assault, the sky-touching mysterious wood, which was in the critical moment of evolution, found it quite difficult to resist. Standing at Suran's location, one could see the monster wooden domain starting to crumble and sink. An endless wildfire consumed the vibrant greenery, gaping fissures tore through the earth, and the fertile soil turned rough and fragmented. Then there was the devastating flood from another side, freezing all vitality with extreme cold. For the creatures within the monster wooden domain that had not had the chance to flee, this was evidently an unprecedented disaster. From where Suran stood, one could see the situation in the monster wooden city. The once thriving city now lay in ruins. Fortunately, the city's populace was being orderly evacuated, escorted by powerful beast masters, deeper into the monster wooden domain. Under the protection of the sky-touching mysterious wood's canopy, the remaining life of the monster wooden domain could catch a temporary breath. Still, the situation was far from optimistic. Because under the joint siege of the 5 beast emperors, the very body of the sky-touching mysterious wood began to show signs of damage. Its vast canopy, which had filtered sun like heaven's own umbrella, was now visibly being infiltrated and eroded by different attribute powers. Withering, freezing, breaking. Its branches began to turn decrepit, and the sound of its presence carried a sense of late twilight, like an elder on the brink of death, suffering at the hands of thugs. And a greater threat came from below. The Golden Dragon Emperor, who had appeared first, was using brute strength to dig large, deep pits in the fractured earth. Although the pits were empty, its intentions were clear to anyone. It aimed to strike at the roots of the sky-touching mysterious wood. Though the sky-touching mysterious wood was a transcendent being of the beast emperor level and a tree, its roots were the core of its power and life. Without the rich foliage above, it was just a light wound, and albeit damages to the trunk were not beyond repair. But if the roots were damaged, it would be fatal for the sky-touching mysterious wood. Based on the progress of the Golden Dragon Emperor's intensive digging, it seemed to be close to finding the sky-touching mysterious wood's roots. For the sky-touching mysterious wood, a life-and-death crisis was indeed just around the corner. Anxiously watching this scene, Su Ran's hands clenched tightly, and involuntary cold sweats broke out on his back. From the current situation, unless the sky-touching mysterious wood could complete its evolution ritual immediately and step into the ranks of the Holy Spirit race, there seemed to be no other way out. But how difficult it was to make that step under the joint opposition of 5 beast emperors. Glancing at the broken jade kite in the air, carefree and unconcerned about the life and death of the sky-touching mysterious wood, merely relishing the spectacle, Su Ran suddenly spoke. "Xian, bring that guy down." Miao understood. Xian nodded vigorously, and with a peal of thunder, instantly appeared in front of the broken jade kite. The broken jade kite, suddenly coming to its senses, had a drastic change in expression and inwardly cursed itself for not keeping further away, but it was too late to resist as Xian smacked it right before Su Ran. "Human, what are you trying to do?" asked the broken jade kite indignantly, its tone tinged with anger after being caught multiple times. "Do you wish to offend our Liuyu Saint clan? Since you know about the sky-touching mysterious wood's evolution ritual being part of the battle of 10,000 tribes, you must know more detailed things, right?" Ignoring the ineffective threat from the other party, Su Ran grabbed the broken jade kite. "Tell me, what does the sky-touching mysterious wood need for its evolution?" He wanted to help the sky-touching mysterious wood within his ability to do so. "You think I'll talk?" retorted the broken jade kite stubbornly at first, but under Xian's deadly glare, it quickly relented. "It's the reverence and adherence to order of all beings. The order isn't just the sky-touching mysterious wood's own order, but a special power composed by the founder and those who comply. The sky-touching mysterious wood itself is just a part of the order. Without the creatures of the monster wooden domain adhering to the order, its order is incomplete. So, it needs to evolve at the moment when its reputation is at its peak, and the creatures of the monster wooden domain revere the order it established the most, leveraging the faith of other creatures." Chapter 551, 299, Deadwood Springs Anew, the Realm of the Semi-Saint. Chapter 551, Chapter 299, Deadwood Springs Anew, the Realm of the Semi-Saint /. At this point in time, it is the battle of 10,000 tribes. Understood. Su Ran's grip on the broken jade kite loosened slightly, his face showing a look of realization. His understanding of the evolution ritual came solely from the system, knowing only the outcomes and not the underlying principles. The effect that the evolution ritual had during the evolutionary process could only be deduced post-evolution. Like having the answers and working backwards to understand the process. But other creatures in this world do not have the system. For them to be aware of the evolution ritual meant they had a deeper understanding of evolution than Su Ran, enabling them to deduce the answers without having them in hand. And indeed, the broken jade kite had not disappointed him. Thus, Su Ran now knew what the sky-touching mysterious wood most needed to complete its evolution. That was the recognition and veneration of the order of the monster wooden domain by the beings living within and composing its order. However, looking at the chaotic monster wooden domain, where creatures could only shiver helplessly under the canopy of the sky-touching mysterious wood, Su Ran felt a sudden weight in his heart. In such circumstances, would they still acknowledge the order of the sky-touching mysterious wood? "It's no use." The broken jade kite seemed to sense Su Ran's thoughts, its voice tinged with a bit of schadenfreude. "Although this is the 47th beast field, once reaching the Emperor stage, there will be." It suddenly paused, as if realizing it was about to reveal something forbidden and secretive, quickly skipping the topic. "In any case, the other beast emperors also know this. Haven't you noticed? Their first move wasn't to attack the sky-touching mysterious wood, but to attack the monster wooden domain. Because the monster wooden domain is the foundation of the sky-touching mysterious wood's evolution. At this moment, with only 1 in 10 living beings surviving, immersed in pain and despair, how could they continue to approve of the sky-touching mysterious wood? The broken jade kite stopped talking and silently observed the sky-touching mysterious wood, its eyes reflecting a mix of amazement and regret. Even in the monstrous eight-beast field, ambitious beast emperors like the sky-touching mysterious wood are very rare. The strength of the leap attribute directly determines the post-evolution strength, but also decides the difficulty of the evolution. An order as a leap attribute is a formidable power. If the sky-touching mysterious wood could successfully evolve and harness it, it would claim its place in the entire eighth beast field. Unfortunately, power to an extent also dictates one's allegiances and stances. The path the sky-touching mysterious wood must take is inherently contrary to that of the eighth beast field. The involvement of the eighth beast field's shadow is likely behind the 5 beast emperors who acted today. Therefore, its failure is almost certain. No, it won't be so, Su-ran whispered, looking in a certain direction. That was Monster Wooden City, now in ruins, with one particularly noticeable tall building standing out. Under the onslaught of the beast emperors, it was completely undamaged, even intact. Because that was the Starfear foster care shop. The enhancement from the system meant that mere beast emperors could not possibly destroy it. Let's go back to Monster Wooden City. Without hesitation, Su-ran patted Star's back and commanded in a firm voice. After the first round of ravaging, the 5 beast emperors had shifted their focus to targeting the sky-touching mysterious wood itself, paying less attention to the wider area of the Monster Wooden domain. Monster Wooden City had become a relatively safer place. In such a vast city, it was impossible for everyone to move under the shelter of the sky-touching mysterious wood in a short time. The few who managed to get there were in the minority. The majority who remained were unlikely to have all perished under the Beast Emperor's rampage. They must be somewhere within Monster Wooden City. Finding them and temporarily relocating them to the expanded space within the Starfear foster would not only save their lives, but could also aid in the evolution of the sky-touching mysterious wood to some extent. Even if all else failed, Su-ran could still use the shop's transmission system to safely escape from danger. Xylulu tilde. Star, feeling the urgency from the Beast Master, let out a cry and turned around, darting toward Monster Wooden City like a shadow. The broken jade kite, still held by Su-ran, was dumbfounded and began to struggle fiercely. Human, let go of me, I won't go. What a joke. With 6 beast emperors still battling, although Monster Wooden City wasn't at the center of the conflict, who knew if one of them might randomly strike at the city, its little life would then be over. Behave yourself. You are a captive now, Su-ran barked, his voice carrying a threat. If the sky-touching mysterious wood doesn't evolve successfully and this crisis isn't resolved, you will keep it company in its burial. This creature might still be hiding some critical information. In such desperate times, Su-ran had to force it to cooperate. Madman, you're a madman. The broken jade kite's eyes widened, its face filled with aggrieved pain. I'm just an onlooker. Why are you capturing me? Meow, quit your bitching, don't move. Xian raised his paw and gave the broken jade kite a blow. The broken jade kite suddenly fell silent, but its eyes, filled with immense sorrow and rage, still couldn't help looking at Su-ran. If glares could kill, it would have killed Su-ran 1,000,000,000 times over. With Star's high speed, 1 man, 3 pets and 1 bird swiftly entered Monster Wooden City. Su-ran casually tossed Can-Can onto the ground. Search for the people. Chapter 552, 299. Deadwood comes to life, the Semi-Saint Realm. Chapter 552, Chapter 299. Deadwood comes to life, the Semi-Saint Realm /. Got it, leave it to me. Can-Can nodded vigorously, and while it usually seemed a bit on the erratic side, it proved to be quite reliable in a crisis. The moment it landed, a yellow glow rapidly enveloped it, before rippling outward in all directions. 3-star skill halo level, echoing of Earth vein. After only a breath or two, Can-Can suddenly looked toward a certain area of Monster Wooden City. Got it, there are lots of people over there. Oh, Su-ran's eyes brightened. Indeed, as he had anticipated, the people who had stayed in the city had not all perished. If nothing unexpected happened, they were probably taking refuge in a temporary shelter under the Beast Master Association's guidance, waiting for the chaos to end. Let's go, let's check it out. Without any hesitation, Su-ran commanded in a low voice, speeding up on his journey with the 3 small ones. Before reaching the location Can-Can had indicated, those concealed sensed something approaching from outside, and a figure in the Beast Master Association's uniform rapidly approached Su Ran. The man was a stranger wearing the uniform of the Beast Master Association. He was initially taken aback, but then quickly recognized Su Ran. "Boss Su, come in quickly." "I'll stay out here." Su Ran stopped the man, then glanced at the place where everyone was taking refuge. It was an open square with no towering buildings around. The area was crowded with about 1,000 people who were erecting a temporary shelter under the direction of a few beast masters in an orderly fashion. However, their efficiency was not high. Shaking his head slightly, Su Ran looked at the association member. "Please lead these people to the Starfare Foster Care Shop for refuge. It's safer there." Glancing at the Starfare Foster Care Shop, which stood unblemished and thus particularly conspicuous, the worker nodded slightly. "That's a good idea. Do you know where other survivors are? My shop can squeeze in a few million people for a short time without a problem." Su Ran estimated the space of the foster area and inquired. "A few million?" The worker was briefly amazed, followed by joy. "I know." He quickly took out a map with special markers. "This is the refuge arrangement the association distributed to us early this morning. I didn't expect we'd use it right away." "Wait a second." Su Ran snatched the map and interrupted the man. "Did you just say early this morning?" Yes, the worker nodded. "I don't know why the association would distribute this, but every worker received this map early this morning." Su Ran fell silent for a moment, then looked at the map in his hand. The small map not only indicated the locations of hundreds of large and small shelters, but also clearly marked the areas and divisions, clearly showing which shelter belonged to which area. Having made such preparations in advance, there was no doubt. The Beast Master Association had known about the impending disaster beforehand. And the only possible source of their information was sky-touching mysterious wood itself. So, before its evolution, sky-touching mysterious wood had anticipated the possible events and taken measures for them. In that moment, Su Ran let out a breath of relief. Being prepared beforehand meant that there would be fewer casualties than imagined. If this was the case with Monster Wooden City, then it's likely sky-touching mysterious wood would have made similar arrangements among the transcendent beings within the Monster Wooden domain. With that, the situation might not be as bad as it seemed. For the first time since the arrival of the 5 Beast Emperors, relief appeared on Su Ran's face. "I'll go to the other shelters and find them." After these words, Su Ran rode on Star, racing like the wind. "Hey, you!" Watching Su Ran's departing figure, the worker opened his mouth, then slowly closed it. He stood still for a moment before turning to address a beast master behind him. "Li Feng, take everyone and move to the Starfare Foster Care Shop. Han Guang, Ao Chang, Qin Yuan, you 3 come with me in the lead, go to the other shelters and tell them to move as well." It would be more efficient for everyone to notify survivors, rather than relying on just Su Ran alone. With Su Ran and other workers' coordination, at that moment, all the shelters in Monster Wooden City began to stir into action simultaneously. 3 system clerks, appointed by Su Ran to receive tasks, worked alongside the association members from Monster Wooden City, methodically gathering all the survivors and bringing them to the foster area for temporary refuge. Seeing a scenario in Monster Wooden City that was vastly different from what it had expected, Broken Jade Kite fell into silence. Originally, it had almost passed a death sentence on sky-touching mysterious wood. But now, the arrogance from the 8th Beast Field was beginning to waver ever so slightly. It suddenly felt that maybe, just maybe, sky-touching mysterious wood's evolution actually had a glimmer of hope. Out with it, no more hiding. After initially settling the city survivors, Su Ran sought out Broken Jade Kite again. "Is there any other way to help sky-touching mysterious wood?" "The blessing of all creatures." After a pause, Broken Jade Kite reluctantly revealed the answer. At this point, it had been forcefully tied to the same fate as Su Ran by Su Ran. There was no escaping for it if sky-touching mysterious wood's evolution failed. Left with no choice, Broken Jade Kite had to cooperate. On the 4th day of each battle of 10,000 tribes, there is a grand celebration organized by sky-touching mysterious wood. There's rain made from mystical wood due to baptize all creatures, and there are also various transcendent resources to be raffled, with quite a few being of king stage caliber. Chapter 553, 299, Deadwood Springs Anew, the Realm of the Semi-Saint. Chapter 553, Chapter 299, Deadwood Springs Anew, the Realm of the Semi-Saint // The broken Jade Kite's voice paused slightly. All these are just appearances. At the end of this celebration, there will be a segment where the creatures of the monster wooden domain express their gratitude and blessings to the sky-touching mysterious wood, and that is another focal point of the ritual. It can become an anchor for the evolution of sky-touching mysterious wood, preventing it from getting lost in the tumultuous order force. So we also need to organize everyone to bless the sky-touching mysterious wood, Su-Ran realized. The more creatures that offer blessings, the better. Of course, the broken Jade Kite nodded. Got it, Su-Ran nodded and was just about to stand up, but he noticed a middle-aged man had at some point appeared by his side. You are Su Yunchuan, the middle-aged man introduced himself. President Su, hello. Su-Ran's expression became serious. The man before him was the president of the Beast Master Association in the Monster Wooden Domain, and the only overlord-level Beast Master of the Monster Wooden Domain. He hadn't expected him to stay in the ruined Monster Wooden City, or that he had entered the foster area of the shop along with the other survivors. At times like this, there's no need to fuss over such trivial matters. Su Yunchuan waved his hand. I heard some of your conversation with the broken Jade Kite a moment ago. Indeed, what we need to do now is to gather more creatures from the monster wooden domain to pray for the Beast Emperor. Without a doubt, the more focused and unified the process, the better the result. Su Yunchuan's voice paused slightly. According to the original plan, we could only pray separately at each shelter. But with the variable that is Starfear Foster Care Shop, we have a better option. Su Yunchuan turned his head to look at the foster area, which still seemed vacant despite accommodating so many survivors. Little boss Su, would you mind accommodating a few more survivors? Of course not, Su-Ran replied without hesitation. Then please follow me. Su Yunchuan nodded slightly and walked towards the exit of the foster area. Broken Jade Kite, there's no need for you to come. Okay, Su-Ran left the broken Jade Kite behind and quickly caught up with the three little ones. The two of them quickly exited the Starfear Foster Care Shop and went in a certain direction. As they walked on, a look of surprise came over Su-Ran's face, because the direction they were heading was towards the Beast Master Association. We are now going to the Beast Master Association, Su Yunchuan explained, noting the change in Su-Ran's expression. Below the association, there are roots of the Beast Emperor. What? Su-Ran's expression was one of shock. The Beast Emperor's roots are in the Monster Wooden City. Even now, the earthquake tremors and the storm of energy were still ongoing. The Golden Dragon Emperor was probably still searching for the roots of the sky-touching mysterious wood. And the roots of sky-touching mysterious wood were in Monster Wooden City. Not exactly, Su Yunchuan shook his head slightly. Deep beneath the ground of the entire Monster Wooden Domain, the roots of the Beast Emperor exist. While expanding its body type, the sky-touching mysterious wood is expanding its roots at 10 times the speed, and it is because of these roots that it can keep an eye on every little thing that happens within the Monster Wooden Domain at all times. Ah, Su-Ran blinked, but wasn't it said that the Beast Emperor has already? Indeed, due to the expansion of its body, sky-touching mysterious wood's ability to control its body has significantly reduced, and it frequently needs to slumber, but its more extensive root system keeps it from appearing as bad off as one might think. Before today, this was a secret known by very few creatures in the Monster Wooden Domain. Su Yunchuan's voice paused for a moment, but after today, it will no longer be a secret. The Golden Dragon Emperor, worry-colored Su-Ran's face. If the entire Monster Wooden Domain was filled with the sky-touching mysterious wood's roots, wouldn't it be easy for the other to find them? Don't worry, it won't find them. Chapter 554-300, Deadwood Springs Anew, Semi-Saint. Chapter 554, Chapter 300, Deadwood Springs Anew, Semi-Saint. Sky-touching mysterious wood, how much longer can you hold on? Wrapped in the majesty of a sky-scouring blaze, the flaming crow emperor let out a low, hoarse screech. With every flap of its wings, which were enveloped in flames, it left scorching marks of fire attribute power on the branches of the sky-touching mysterious wood. Looking down at the seemingly calm and indifferent illusory face below, the flaming crow emperor couldn't help but let out a sneer, its eyes filled with an even denser ferocity. That very expression. Every time it saw this creature with that expression, it couldn't help but want to burn it to ashes. A long time ago, before the sky-touching mysterious wood had established its own power base at the current location of the Monster Wooden Domain, the flaming crow emperor, due to its brutal nature and indiscriminate killing, had a significant conflict with the sky-touching mysterious wood. Back then, the flaming crow emperor's strength was no match for the sky-touching mysterious wood, and after repeatedly being bested, it developed a deep hatred for it. Even after hundreds of years, it still could not forget that hateful face. The fact that it, along with other beast emperors, had interrupted the sky-touching mysterious wood's evolution today, and was on the verge of slaying it on the spot, brought a sense of satisfaction to its eyes. You too have this day. The sky-touching mysterious wood gazed calmly at the opponent, and although it felt the opponent's intense malice, it did not let any emotion ripple across it. Even when facing the siege of 5 beast emperors, it was still as undisturbed as an ancient well. If it weren't for the fact that the face of gathered energy looked a bit fainter than at first, suggesting a hint of weakness, the 5 beast emperors might even have the illusion that they hadn't injured their opponent at all. Sky-touching mysterious wood, have you given up resisting and resigned yourself to capture? No, impossible. All 5 beast emperors recalled their past dealings with this unique beast emperor. Beneath its calm and indifferent demeanor lay boiling ambition and perseverance. The sky-touching mysterious wood would use any means necessary to obtain what it wanted. How could such a beast emperor, after quietly preparing for hundreds of years and now just one step away from joining the Holy Spirit race, give up because of their arrival? This guy is up to something big. Almost simultaneously, such a thought emerged in their minds. The 5 beast emperors exchanged glances, their eyes flashing with murderous intent. Just then, a trace of concealed elation that had gone unnoticed by any creature briefly flickered in those illusory eyes. As the battle commenced, the always silent sky-touching mysterious wood suddenly spoke up. Actually, I didn't expect so many old friends to come today. As the sound of sky-touching mysterious wood's voice faded, the offensive of the 5 beast emperors eased slightly. They too wanted to hear what this fellow had to say now that the overall situation seemed settled. The Crow Emperor has old grudges to settle with me, so its arrival was within my expectations. Sky-touching mysterious wood glanced at the flaming Crow Emperor, then turned its gaze toward the golden giant dragon still searching for its roots on the ground. The Dragon Emperor has suffered losses at my hands before, so it makes sense for him to come. And what of you 3? Why have you appeared at this moment? Sky-touching mysterious wood looked calmly at the remaining 3 beast emperors. Phoenix King, Demon Monarch, Dragon Hawk, we have no grudges or grievances. Why cut off my chance to ascend to sanctity? A creature with ice-blue feathers throughout its body, elegant in both stature and every dignified move, emanating endless chill, stopped its assault in that moment. Its bright blue eyes looked up, locking gaze with the immense face of the sky-touching mysterious wood. It was the cold blue Phoenix King, one of the 8 beast emperors of Beast Field number 47. Facing the question from the sky-touching mysterious wood, it stayed silent for a moment before letting out a clear, resounding cry. At the request of others, do not blame me, mysterious wood emperor. I see, I'd almost forgotten. You have good relations with both the Dragon Emperor and Crow Emperor. A look of realization appeared in the eyes of the sky-touching mysterious wood, as if it had only just understood this point. It turned its head, gazing into the void at another massive creature whose form was unstable and entirely made of water. Flood Lake Demon Monarch, I recall you had some dispute with the Crow Emperor. Why would you also take action to assist it now? Upon hearing this, the body of the Flood Lake Demon Monarch violently trembled, churning the mist in the void and emitting a deep roar. I've killed countless in my life. You fraternize with human beast masters, and once you become a saint spirit you might not spare me. Better to strike first and gain the upper hand. I have no intention of settling scores. You must have been influenced by some words, but it's too late for words now. A look of helplessness appeared on the face of the sky-touching mysterious wood. It shook its head slightly and then looked at the last figure. And you, Dragon Hawk? I thought you would be the least likely to come. Within the gaze of the sky-touching mysterious wood was a mighty creature that looked part eagle, part dragon. It was covered with dark purple scales, and long feathers adorned its wings. As it flapped, countless bolts of lightning stirred in the void, its power inscrutable. One of the 8 beast emperors of Beast Field number 47, God Lightning Dragon Hawk. Upon hearing the words of the sky-touching mysterious wood, the God Lightning Dragon Hawk fell silent momentarily. Among the 7 other beast emperors, it alone had once had friendly relations with the sky-touching mysterious wood. Although there had been little interaction for a long time, the past friendship remained, and indeed, among the 7 beast emperors, it was the least likely to be here. But, thinking of the reason for its arrival, the god lightning dragon Hawk sighed. Mysterious Wood Emperor, you're surely aware that the monster wooden domain has long been an outlier within Beast Field number 47. Chapter 555-300, Deadwood Springs Anew, Semi-Saint. Chapter 555, Chapter 300, Deadwood Springs Anew, Semi-Saint / Maintaining the status quo, we could still tolerate, but your breakthrough to Saint Spirit has touched our bottom line. Not only can we not tolerate it, but the higher realm cannot tolerate it either. You've already chosen a path of death. Does it matter who takes action? The higher realm. What an imposing presence. Sky-touching Mysterious Wood's previously calm expression quickly turned icy cold upon hearing those 2 words. Unable to come on their own, yet they resort to such tricks to hinder other beings from evolving into Saint Spirits. Once I break through to Saint Spirit, I will rebuild order and sweep away all obstructing voices. The voice of Sky-touching Mysterious Wood suddenly became fervent and full of fighting spirit, its aura escalating sharply at that moment, acquiring an even more profound sense. Below Sky-touching Mysterious Wood, the fertile soil at its feet rapidly transformed into an almost desert-like forbidden zone, as the powerful earth attribute power was incessantly drawn from the depths of the ground, merging into Sky-touching Mysterious Wood's body. Its branches and leaves, already heavily damaged under the relentless onslaught of the 5 beast emperors, began to sprout anew at that moment. Almost in the blink of an eye, they had returned to their original state. And that was not all. Those branches and leaves continued to grow, stretching wildly in the void, instantly intertwining with each other to form giant hands, which ferociously lashed out at the 5 beast emperors. In that moment, Sky-touching Mysterious Wood, abandoning its previously defensive stance, boldly took on 5 opponents at once, initiating an attack. All the beings from the monster wooden domain who had been curled up under its vast canopy, and required all its might to protect from the onslaught of the 5 beast emperors, were now nowhere to be seen. And this was the greatest confidence behind Sky-touching Mysterious Wood's audacious assault. Not good. The Flaming Crow Emperor's expression drastically changed upon sensing this shift. They had already learned some of the secret details of Sky-touching Mysterious Wood's evolution through certain channels. That's why, as soon as they emerged, they attacked the entire monster wooden domain, indiscriminately killing beings inside the domain, to disrupt Sky-touching Mysterious Wood's evolution ritual at its root. When they found Sky-touching Mysterious Wood was desperately defending the surviving beings of the monster wooden domain, they were both surprised and unsurprised, and tacitly switched their target to attack Sky-touching Mysterious Wood. With these beings from the monster wooden domain as a distraction, Sky-touching Mysterious Wood could not bring its full strength to bear, and was no match for them. And if it were to forsake these beings from the monster wooden domain, the order that Sky-touching Mysterious Wood painstakingly built over hundreds of years would crumble in an instant. The evolution ritual would forever lose its chance, and the outcome would remain unchanged. Indeed, just as they had anticipated, Sky-touching Mysterious Wood maintained a defensive stance throughout, directly enduring all their attacks without striking back. But now the situation had changed. Those beings from the monster wooden domain, who should have been under the protection of Sky-touching Mysterious Wood, had suddenly disappeared. And Sky-touching Mysterious Wood had no more concerns holding it back. Watching the giant hand quickly enlarging in its field of vision, the Flaming Crow Emperor let out a cry of shock and anger. In that moment, its body seemed to ignite completely, with terrifying fire lighting up the sky and earth, almost becoming a second sun in the sky. The ravaging flames swept across the entire void, heavily bombarding the hand woven from branches and leaves. Countless branches and leaves could not withstand such flames, their green color rapidly fading to gray-brown. Deprived of moisture, they started to burn quickly. But behind them, more branches and leaves grew even faster, covering and replacing the dead ones, continuously reforming into an even larger tree hand, relentlessly advancing towards the Flaming Crow Emperor. Seeking death. The Flaming Crow Emperor roared, its golden-red eyes filled with ferocity. Its sharp beak opened and a blindingly bright ball of fire swiftly converged, then shot out like a laser, piercing through the center of the hand. Wherever it passed, the void seemed to melt, and at the center of that leafy hand, a huge hole was instantly burned through. Foul scents of charring and burnt marks continuously spread, with the growth of the branches and leaves being halted at once. This was the Flaming Crow Emperor's ultimate skill. 4 stars technique, violent sun-level burning flame disaster light. With a low grunt, the Flaming Crow Emperor furiously flapped its wings, ready to fly out through the newly formed hole to escape the danger. Just then, an invisible and unpredictable force suddenly descended. Accompanying it was the indifferent voice of sky-touching mysterious wood. This place forbids crossing through the hole. In an instant, the Flaming Crow Emperor felt as if it was mired in mud. The gap that was less than 100 meters wide now seemed billions of meters long, impossible to fly through. With the word spoken, the law followed. Fear beyond control peered for the first time on the face of the Flaming Crow Emperor. This is order attribute. How is this possible? How could it be so fast? They had been attacking sky-touching mysterious wood all along, disrupting its evolution. The monster wooden domain had been reduced to ruins, and even the sky-reaching pillar that constituted the battlefield of the Battle of 10,000 Tribes had been toppled by their combined strength. In such circumstances, why could sky-touching mysterious wood master the power of the advanced attribute so quickly? This is still not the order attribute, just a crude use of it. A hint of amusement crept into sky-touching mysterious wood's voice as it faced the terrified Flaming Crow Emperor. It's time to end this. Chapter 556-300, Deadwood Springs Anew, Semi-Saint. Chapter 556, Chapter 300, Deadwood Springs Anew, Semi-Saint / This place, restoration accelerates. As the sky-touching mysterious wood spoke again, the once unrecoverable void began to be replenished by countless branches and leaves at a visible speed. Even the Flaming Crow Emperor deep within saw its power and injuries recover at a much faster pace. Just as the sky-touching mysterious wood had said, at this moment it had not yet fully controlled this power, to the extent that it could only be indiscriminately used, without distinguishing between friend and foe. However, feeling the acceleration of its power and injury recovery, there was not a hint of joy on the Flaming Crow Emperor's face. Because from beginning to end, its expenditure of energy was negligible, and it had not been injured at all. Watching helplessly as it was entwined and sealed by countless branches and leaves, as if to be completely sealed away, madness flickered in the Flaming Crow Emperor's eyes. It let out a fierce scream, the flames around its body burning even more vigorously, the endless fire sweeping in all directions, making the entangling branches and leaves have to temporarily retract from its sharpness. And without giving it a moment to breathe, the next words of the sky-touching mysterious wood caused the fire attribute Flaming Crow Emperor to feel as though it was in an ice cellar. This place, wood fears not fire. No! The Flaming Crow Emperor screamed in fury, but could only watch helplessly as the branches and leaves, which had previously retreated, instantly entwined it tightly, making it unable to move at all. The eternal flame burning on its body was enough to melt gold and stone, but now it couldn't even slightly alter the color of these leaves. This is at the crushing pressure of an advanced attribute. A hint of despair emerged in the Flaming Crow Emperor's eyes. And it was not the only one that was desperate. This place, physical strength is powerless. With a low shout, the Golden Dragon Emperor, feeling its boundless power being rapidly weakened, could only accompany the shout with furious roars as countless branches and leaves tightly bound it, immobilizing it completely. This place, wood fears not cold. In the midst of angry cries, the cold blue Phoenix King too had no choice but to be captured without a fight. This place, water takes form. The Yuan attribute Beast Emperor, the Flood Lake Demon Monarch, who could normally transform into water and easily escape through the gaps in the branches and leaves, was also captured without resistance. This place, wood conducts electricity. The god Lightning Dragon hawks electricity, ripping through the void upon the utterance of the Beast Emperor's word, vanished as if facing an abyss, absorbed entirely by the surrounding branches and leaves that enveloped it, channeled into the ground below, and completely lost its effectiveness. Already at a disadvantage due to its attribute being suppressed, it could now only offer a wry smile, honestly ceasing its attacks and letting the branches and leaves bind it layer by layer. In just an instant, the balance of victory and defeat flipped. Within the void, 5 Beast Emperors were simultaneously sealed by the sky-touching mysterious wood, utterly devoid of their previous arrogance. This is the formidable strength of the Holy Spirit race. If the leader species, King species and Emperor species represent the continuous evolution of the life level, a succession of leaps in power strength. Then the advancement from Emperor species to Holy Spirit race represents a jump that far surpasses the previous two evolutions. It signifies a leap in attribute. Transcendent beings from now on are no longer bound by the rules of the 10 attributes of heaven and earth, possessing their own unique attribute, their own unique path. Only then can one be sanctified. Even if just one member of the Holy Spirit race with an advanced attribute appears, facing an opponent of the 10 major attributes, they can exert a similar overwhelming pressure. Not to mention the sky-touching mysterious wood, with its lofty ambitions, submerged for centuries just to master the power of order, which is one of the top amongst advanced attributes. Even now displaying just a fraction of its power, it's already enough to easily suppress beast emperors of the same life level. The gap between advanced attributes and the 10 basic attributes is like a chasm in the sky. After sealing 5 invaders in an instant, the sky-touching mysterious wood's indifferent expression suddenly revealed a hint of agony. Ordinary evolution is already defying the natural order, fraught with difficulties, let alone the final leap from the Emperor species to the Holy Spirit race. The difficulty is unimaginable. At this moment, it was still extremely far from completing its evolution. In such circumstances, to forcibly use the newly born power that was not yet fully its own, the consequences are obvious. This would undoubtedly add considerable difficulty to its evolution, but the sky-touching mysterious wood had no choice. Looking profoundly at the 5 beast emperors in the void who could no longer interfere with its evolution, the ethereal visage of the sky-touching mysterious wood slowly faded away. Its aura rapidly waned, the restless and bizarre power rampaging crazily over the dreadful canopy that stretched for tens of kilometers. Its branches sometimes twisted, sometimes deformed, and even in certain areas of the canopy, there appeared the strange sight of leaves growing branches, the distortion and chaos turning the appearance of the sky-touching mysterious wood into something indescribable in an instant, its pained thoughts radiating continuously towards the outside. That was the backlash of the power of order. Feeling this scene, the 5 beast emperors fell silent in unison. They knew all too well that the sky-touching mysterious wood was at the crucial moment of evolution, and that if they could only make a move, it could result in the failure of its evolution and its immediate demise. But the branches and leaves that had solidified the power of order on them had been deliberately disconnected by the sky-touching mysterious wood itself, becoming independent shackles that would not loosen with its aberration. This left them only to watch helplessly as this great opportunity unfolded before their eyes, yet unable to do anything about it. Time was marching on bit by bit. The aberration of the sky-touching mysterious wood grew even more frenzied. Its branches even began to ooze crimson blood, and its leaves sprouted numerous fierce and irregular eyes, as if it transformed from a tree's body into a hybrid of tree and flesh. Chapter 557, 300, Deadwood Springs Anew, Semi-Saint. Chapter 557, Chapter 300, Deadwood Springs Anew, Semi-Saint /. A terror-inducing, frenzied aura dispersed from every corner of its body. The 5 beast emperors trembled simultaneously at this moment. All of them had undergone 2 evolutions, yet compared to the ordeal of the sky-touching mysterious wood, their past evolutions were like mud to clouds. Is this the evolutionary backlash that the Holy Spirit race must suffer? Witnessing the increasingly dangerous aura of the sky-touching mysterious wood, they even forgot that they were now captives, thoroughly engrossed in the spectacle. And the hideous avatar of the sky-touching mysterious wood was also reflected in Su Ran's eyes. Standing on the ramparts of Monster Wooden City, staring at the grotesque form of the sky-touching mysterious wood, Su Ran fell silent for a moment before turning to the broken jade kite beside him. Why is the evolution of the sky-touching mysterious wood so difficult? In his memory, the evolutionary recordings he saw in Zion City didn't seem to have such a horrifying scenario. The broken jade kite was no longer bound, but seeing the current situation, it had no intention of leaving. It shook its head when it heard the question. In such a circumstance, how could the sky-touching mysterious wood grasp the power of advanced attributes so quickly? This can hardly be considered the order attribute, it's merely a superficial exercise of it, the sky-touching mysterious wood said, a hint of amusement in its voice. It's time to end this. This place recover faster. As the sky-touching mysterious wood spoke again, The previously irreparable void began filling up with countless branches and leaves at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even the flaming crow emperor, buried deep within, felt its power and wounds healing at an accelerating pace. As the sky-touching mysterious wood had said, at this moment its control of this power was not yet complete, hence its influence was indiscriminate, affecting friend and foe alike. However, despite the rapid restoration of his power and wounds, the flaming crow emperor's face showed not a hint of joy. Because from the very beginning its consumption had been minimal, and it had not been injured. Watching helplessly as it was entwined and constrained by countless branches and leaves, seemingly about to be sealed forever, the flaming crow emperor's eyes flickered with madness. It let out a fierce screech, the flames around its body burning even more fiercely. Endless fire swept in all directions, and the approaching branches had no choice but to recede from its sharp edge. Yet before it could catch its breath, the next words from the sky-touching mysterious wood made the fire attribute flaming crow emperor feel as if it were in an ice cellar. In this place wood fears not fire. No! The flaming crow emperor let out an angry shriek, but could only watch as the branches it had forced back a moment ago now swiftly entangled it tightly, rendering it completely immobile. The eternal flames on its body that could melt metal and dissolve stone now couldn't even slightly discolor those branches. Is this the overwhelming superiority of advanced attributes? A glimmer of despair emerged in the eyes of the flaming crow emperor. And it was not the only one feeling despair. In this place flesh loses strength. Accompanied by a low shout, the golden dragon emperor felt its boundless strength rapidly diminishing, and could only roar in anger as countless branches bound it tightly, leaving it unable to move an inch. In this place wood fears not cold. Amid the indignant cries, the cold blue phoenix king similarly had to submit helplessly. In this place water takes form. The Yuan attribute beast emperor, flood lake demon monarch, which could easily escape through the gaps in the branches by turning into water, was also captured helplessly. In this place, wood can conduct electricity. The god lightning dragon hawks electricity that could pierce through the void became like it had encountered a bottomless pit after the beast emperor's words. It was absorbed by the surrounding branches and directed into the ground below, completely losing its intended potency. Already restrained by its opposing attribute, it could only smile wryly and stop its attacks, allowing itself to be securely bound by the layers of branches. In just an instant, the balance of victory had tipped. In the void, 5 beast emperors were simultaneously sealed by the sky-touching mysterious wood, stripped of the arrogance they had displayed before. This was the formidable might of the Holy Spirit race. If one were to say that the leader species, king species, and emperor species represented the continual evolution of life levels and the multi-step leaps in power, then the upgrade from the emperor species to the Holy Spirit race far surpassed the previous 2 evolutions. It was a leap in attributes. Transcendent beings were no longer bound by the rules of the 10 attributes between heaven and earth. They now possessed their unique attributes, their unique paths. Only then could they be considered holy. Even just any member of the Holy Spirit race possessing an advanced attribute, when facing an adversary with one of the 10 basic attributes, could perform the same sort of crushing defeat. Not to mention the ambition of the sky-touching mysterious wood, which lay dormant for hundreds of years, just to master the power of order, one of the more superior advanced attributes. At this moment, just a shred of that power was enough to easily suppress beast emperors of the same life level. The gap between advanced attributes and the 10 basic attributes was like a chasm. After instantly sealing the 5 attackers, the indifferent expression of the sky-touching mysterious wood suddenly registered a trace of pain. Ordinary evolution was already going against the natural order, full of difficulties, not to mention this last barrier, evolving from the emperor species to the Holy Spirit race. The level of difficulty was unimaginable. At this time, it still had an extremely long way to go to complete its evolution. In such a situation, forcibly using a power that had just been born, not yet fully integrated into itself, the consequences were predictable. It would inevitably increase the difficulty of its evolution, but the sky-touching mysterious wood had no choice. After giving the 5 beast emperors in the void, now unable to interfere with its evolution, a profound look, the ethereal face of the sky-touching mysterious wood slowly faded away. Its aura quickly wilted, and the agitated, anomalous power went rampant over its terrifying canopy that spanned dozens of kilometers. Its branches and leaves twisted, deformed, and in some areas of the canopy, there appeared the strange phenomenon of branches growing out of leaves, the distortion and chaos making the sky-touching mysterious wood's appearance become indescribable in an instant, with surges of pain continually radiating into the outside world. That was the backlash of the power of order. Feeling this scene, the 5 beast emperors all quieted down. They knew all too well that the sky-touching mysterious wood was at a critical moment in its evolution, and that with just a little interference, they could cause its evolution to fail and perish on the spot. But the branches and leaves encasing them had already hardened with the previously exerted order force, and had been actively disconnected by the sky-touching mysterious wood from each other, now forming independent shackles that would not loosen with the sky-touching mysterious wood's changes. This left them with no choice but to helplessly watch a prime opportunity unfold before their eyes, unable to do anything about it. Time passed bit by bit. The anomalous condition of the sky-touching mysterious wood grew increasingly wild, its branches even beginning to seep scarlet blood, and its leaves sprouted numerous gruesome and irregular eyes, as if its wooden body had morphed into a patchwork of wood and flesh. An aura of horror and madness permeated every inch of its form. The 5 beast emperors shuddered together at this moment. They were elites who had undergone 2 evolutions, but compared to what the sky-touching mysterious wood was enduring, their past experiences paled in comparison. Was this the evolutionary backlash of becoming a member of the Holy Spirit race? Watching the increasingly dangerous aura of the sky-touching mysterious wood, they even forgot that they were now prisoners, engrossed in observing this spectacle. The grisly form of the sky-touching mysterious wood was also reflected in Su Ran's eyes. Standing on the wall of Monster Wooden City and observing the ghastly form of the sky-touching mysterious wood, Su Ran fell silent for a moment before turning to the broken jade kite beside him. Why is the evolution of the sky-touching mysterious wood so difficult? In his memory, the evolution records he saw in Zion City did not seem to contain such terrifying circumstances. The broken jade kite was no longer bound, but seeing the situation at hand, it had no intention to leave and simply shook its head in response. Chapter 558-301 The Secret of the Saint Spirit, Xuanmu's Gift. Chapter 558, Chapter 301 The Secret of the Saint Spirit, Xuanmu's Gift. Starfair Foster Care Shop, Foster Area. The spacious foster area was somewhat crowded. Inside the foster area, countless creatures had their eyes tightly shut, adopting postures of respect and reverence that were characteristic of their own species, continuing their devoted prayers for the sky-touching mysterious wood. Until a certain moment, a familiar thought appeared in their minds. "Thank you for your hard work. I have received your blessings. You may stop now." The calm and gentle thought made numerous creatures in the area open their eyes in surprise. If the beast Emperor Sky-reaching Xuanmu was in such a stable state, did that mean? The next words from the sky-touching mysterious wood confirmed the creature's speculation. "Come out, everyone. To witness the birth process of the Holy Spirit race can also be considered a fine opportunity." "Let's go." Su Ran's eyes showed an excited expression as he shouted, "Everyone, please keep order. Do not crowd and leave here in a queue." The 3 staff members understood and immediately took on the role of maintaining order, directing the crowded and restless creatures in the foster area to leave in an orderly fashion. It took a while before everyone had left the Starfair Foster Care Shop and stood within the ruins of what had been Monster Wooden City. Through the collapsed walls and tall buildings, every creature could see the state of the sky-touching mysterious wood at this moment. Its body was much larger than before, almost covering half of the Monster Wooden domain. The falling dead leaves covered the scarred Monster Wooden domain, and the dried, blackened branches faintly bore the remnants of prior madness and indescribable chaos. The sky-touching mysterious wood at this moment looked like a giant tree that had withered and died. Yet within its silent body, all creatures could feel an immense, indescribable power, a presence that made them unconsciously want to prostrate in worship, gestating rapidly. Crack tilde. A crystal-clear sound echoed from the remnants of the sky-touching mysterious wood, like the first cry of a newborn, resonating with an enchanting magic. All creatures, as if by some prearranged signal, turned their gazes to a spot amidst the expansive, withered branches of the sky-touching mysterious wood. There, on the decrepit limb, the first crack appeared, revealing a dazzling aqua gold light beneath. Crack tilde, crack tilde. More sounds of splintering followed. After the first, they arose one after another until they merged into a chorus. More and more cracks appeared all over the sky-touching mysterious wood, spreading from the tips of the branches to its main trunk. Streams of aqua gold light shone out from the cracks, overlapping and intersecting, casting bright pathways of light into the void. Eventually, when the number of these fissures peaked, the body of the sky-touching mysterious wood shuddered violently. Whoosh! Accompanied by the sound of collapsing tiles, the withered outer layer that clung to the tree's body completely peeled away onto the ground, revealing a new being of aqua gold before everyone's eyes. It was a towering tree with aqua gold patterns from its trunk to its branches. Each branch unfurled as though it could shatter the sky, with each slight movement carrying the weight capable of crushing the void itself. A force surpassing the level of Beast Emperor burst forth from around it, sharp and domineering like a spear piercing the heavens, instantly clearing clouds for hundreds of miles, revealing a washed clear sky. The next moment, the aqua gold light around the sky-touching mysterious wood grew increasingly blinding. Converging in the sky, the enigmatic power and novel attribute contained within rapidly altered the surrounding space and the forces that previously existed there. In the end, mysterious patterns wove together behind the sky-touching mysterious wood, one end connected to it and the other rooted in the surrounding void, forming a magnificent wheel of life. Suran's breath caught at this moment. 5-star skills, Saint Spirit Wheel of Life. This was the second time he witnessed this symbol unique to the Holy Spirit race. But compared to the last time, the shock this brought was undoubtedly more profound. Because the inscrutable power of the Holy Spirit race could not be recorded or replicated, Suran had only seen its external manifestations when watching the recording last time. But this time, Suran not only saw clearly the posture of the sky-touching mysterious wood stepping into the Holy Spirit race, but also distinctly felt, on the Saint Spirit Wheel of Life above, that overwhelmingly powerful, transcendent presence unique to the Holy Spirit race, beyond the 10 attributes. Leap Attribute Order. At this moment, all creatures could not help but cheer. Witnessing the unique power that only the legendary Holy Spirit race could wield, they knew that the evolution of the sky-touching mysterious wood had succeeded. Beast Domain number 47 had its first member of the Holy Spirit race. The next moment, their cheers turned to gasps of awe. For the pose of the sky-touching mysterious wood changed once again. Under the gaze of all creatures, its body, which spanned half of the monster wooden domain, began to contract for the first time. Like a retracted spear returning to the hand, the sky-touching mysterious wood halted its expansion that hadn't ceased for hundreds of years. It rapidly retracted all its branches back into its body, and accompanied by a hazy aqua gold light, its trunk also visibly shrank before their very eyes. Boom, boom, boom tilde. With each deep roar, the land of the entire monster wooden domain trembled violently, as if a dragon were turning over beneath it. All creatures could clearly feel the ground beneath their feet sinking slowly, as if a layer had been suddenly extracted from the earth below. Chapter 559, 301, The Secret of the Saint Spirit Xuanmu's Gift. Chapter 559, Chapter 301, The Secret of the Saint Spirit Xuanmu's Gift, /. Within a few breaths, the body of the sky-touching mysterious wood had shrunk to a few hundred meters, which, compared to its previous form that blotted out the sky and often measured in tens of thousands of meters, could be considered miniature. Its roots no longer took hold in the earth below, but instead, as it withdrew, they became like countless straws drawing power, piercing the void and becoming part of the order, extending into an invisible, mysterious domain. Transformed and no longer an earth-extraordinary creature, it had shed the shackles of the land and attained perfection in form. As its body changed, the sky-touching mysterious wood also moved closer to the vicinity of Monster Wooden City, so that all beings could better witness the process of its power's transformation. There was no doubt that this was the sky-touching mysterious wood's way of showing its gratitude. And how much the watching beings could understand or realize from this process was their own fortune. Once all its branches had retracted and all its roots had fully returned, the body of the sky-touching mysterious wood finally stopped shrinking. The once immensely huge body now stood only 99 meters tall, petite not only when compared to other creatures of the Beast Emperor level, but even when compared to some larger beast kings. But none dared to question its power. For the saint spirit wheel of life behind the sky-touching mysterious wood remained sky-high and earth-deep, and as its body changed, it even became more dazzling and captivating. The next moment, the branches of the sky-touching mysterious wood burst forth with an even richer green-gold glow. The first green-gold leaf unfolded at the tip of its branches. Its shape was regular and symmetrical, with intricate gold patterns that contained inscrutable power. Soon after came the second, the third. In the end, 999 leaves unfolded on the body of the sky-touching mysterious wood, not one more, not one less. Compared to the countless leaves of the sky-touching mysterious woods past, the current number was far fewer, but all creatures could feel that these leaves were anything but ordinary. With the evolution of the sky-touching mysterious wood, they too possessed unfathomable might. With the growth of new branches and leaves, the transformation of the sky-touching mysterious wood's body finally came to an end. It faced the beings, and it seemed as if a pair of eyes was looking out from the void. An invisible will spread across the area, proclaiming to heaven and earth. From this day forth, I am a demon wood semi-saint. Epic level saint spirit race, referred to as semi-saint. Saint rank saint spirit race can be addressed as the saint. In response to it, endless shouts and cheers extended. From now on, the monster wooden domain possessed a semi-saint, and a bright future lay readily within reach. Tortoise of longevity, dark abyss bear emperor, gold blue dragon stepped forward. With the reverberation of the demon wood semi-saint's intention, 3 Quays, emperor clan leaders of the overlord stage, emerged from the crowd. Knowing they couldn't contend with creatures of the emperor stage when disaster struck, they took their respective clans under their protection, upholding the responsibility of safeguarding the life within the monster wooden domain, and after Su Ran stepped forward, they too entered the foster area of the Starfair foster care shop. Now stepping out, they each restrained their aura, looking up with utmost reverence at the semi-saint of demon wood in the void, and as if thinking of something, their eyes brimmed with anticipation. A hint of a smile peered in the intentions of the demon wood semi-saint. The 3 of you have followed me through much hardship and have great merits. I once said that, when I become a saint, it will be the time for you 3 to become emperors. Now it is time to fulfill that promise. As the words of the demon wood semi-saint fell, excitement shone in the eyes of the 3 Quays emperors. An invisible and inscrutable force began to stir, enveloping the area around. The voice of the demon wood semi-saint, filled with immeasurable authority, echoed forth. In this place, the emperor species have no bottlenecks. A just unfolded leaf fell in response, dissolving into countless points of light before everyone's eyes as the power of order enveloped the vicinity along with the demon wood semi-saint's words. At the same time, the 3 overlord stage transcendent beings felt the power that had restrained them, the force that prevented them from reaching the next growth stage, quietly crack a gap. Such a rare opportunity naturally was not to be missed. One by one, they activated their power, surging to the skies, striving to breach the bottleneck that confined them. After a few breaths, 3 increasingly powerful auras soared to the heavens. That was no longer an aura of the overlord stage, but of the emperor stage level. Henceforth, the beast field number 47 added 3 more beast emperors to its ranks. Witnessing this scene, Su Yunchuan and the crowd showed a trace of envy. In that instant just before, of his 6 pet beasts, the ones that had evolved into the emperor species had all felt their own bottlenecks loosening at the same time. However, as pet beasts, their growth stages were still constrained by another bottleneck. This was the hierarchy of the contract power of the beast master. The current demon wood semi-saint was still not powerful enough to resolve the basic rules of this world with its own power, and the recent blessing was solely targeted at the emperor species, not including the overlord-level beast masters. Nevertheless, Su Yunchuan understood that he did not have the privilege to ask the demon wood semi-saint for help in breaking through. Unlike those 3 Quasi emperors who had always followed the demon wood semi-saint, humans within the monster wooden domain were more like protected tenants. They revered the demon wood semi-saint, but did not entirely submit to it. Su Yunchuan and the 3 little ones who also saw this scene were once more astounded. The demon wood semi-saint, having completed its final evolution and breaking through to the epic level, could effortlessly elevate 3 Quasi emperors of the overlord stage to the beast emperor level with a mere wave of its hand. This display, akin to a miracle, already bore a semblance to the stature of a saint spirit. Chapter 560-301, The Secret of the Saint Spirit, Xuanmu's Gift. Chapter 560, Chapter 301, The Secret of the Saint Spirit, Xuanmu's Gift, / Su Ran's heart surged with emotions. The saint rank is the most powerful existence in this world. And now, he had finally witnessed a portion of this level of power with his own eyes. At this moment, the three little ones also felt an immense longing for the Holy Spirit race within their hearts. If they too became part of the Holy Spirit race, what kind of power would they wield? With this thought, different visions appeared in the minds of the three little ones. What Xian imagined was the overwhelming and terrifying power that seemed capable of annihilating everything when she deployed divine punishment. If she evolved into the Holy Spirit race, how powerful would she be with similar powers? Star envisioned the starry sky that he could gaze upon every night. Those stars had long been deeply etched into his heart, and now it seemed he had the chance to become one of them. As for Can, the first thing that came to its mind was the form of a dragon. But, out of the corner of its eye, looking at the 5 beast kings still sealed by the demon wood semi-saint in the distance, particularly at the golden dragon emperor wrapped in golden dragon scales, remembering the earth attribute dragon extraordinary being that had been killed by the nightmare beast king to become part of its own evolution ritual, Can fell silent. How come all the dragon extraordinary beings it encountered seemed so inferior? Maybe it's time to flee. Dragons don't seem to amount to much. Meanwhile, after empowering the 3 loyal subordinates, the gaze of the demon wood semi-saint turned toward the 5 sealed beast kings. With a thought, the order force that had bound the beast kings dissipated into nothingness, and without its solidified power, the branches and leaves also turned to ash and scattered. The 5 beast kings were free once more. However, they no longer possessed the slightest intention to battle the demon wood semi-saint. If their rudimentary use of advanced attributes could trap them, how fearsome would the demon wood semi-saint be now that it had successfully evolved and could control its own powers? Flaming Crow Emperor, Golden Dragon Emperor, both of you bear old grudges against me, and today you allied with other beast kings to stop my evolution. Today you will stay. As the indifferent voice of the demon wood semi-saint sounded, 2 leaves sliced through the void, aimed at the 2 named beast kings. As the slowly drifting leaves approached, unavoidable, terror and ferocity filled the eyes of the flaming Crow Emperor. Sky-touching mysterious wood, you won't come to a good end. Beast Field number 8 won't tolerate your presence. They will not let go. The hoarse scream of the flaming Crow Emperor abruptly stopped as the leaves cut through the air. Its golden red eyes rapidly lost their luster, and the huge power within it began to dissipate into the world. The flaming Crow Emperor fallen. Compared to the hysterical flaming Crow Emperor, the Golden Dragon Emperor was much more composed, watching the now silent flaming Crow Emperor and letting out a soft sigh. I should never have provoked you. The next moment, as the leaf fell, the huge body of the Golden Dragon Emperor collapsed to the ground. The Golden Dragon Emperor fallen. The fall of 2 beast emperors made the expressions of the other 3 emperors utterly terrified. Yet they didn't dare to flee, because they knew all too well there was no escaping the palm of the demon wood semi-saint. You 3. After exterminating 2 beast emperors, the demon wood semi-saint's gaze shifted to the other 3. I'll give you a choice, it spoke slowly after a brief silence, submit or die. We submit. The 3 beast emperors made their choice without hesitation, each detaching a portion of their origin power and handing it over to the demon wood semi-saint. This was the way in the beast field to express loyalty and submission to a stronger being. With this piece of origin in hand, the master could easily inflict heavy damage on the submissive one. After securing the origin from the 3 beast emperors, the breath of the demon wood semi-saint relaxed a bit, losing its previously sharp edge. It suddenly turned its head to look at Su Ran. Human boy, follow me. Me, Su Ran, who snapped back to reality, pointed at himself, his face registering a look of astonishment. Are you calling me elder? Yes, you. The demon wood semi-saint nodded, then turned and drifted in the direction of the core area of the monster wooden domain. We'll follow. Quick to understand, Su Ran quickly picked up Xian and Can, then leaped onto Star's back. Zai-Lulu. Accompanied by a cry from Star, the 3 companions turned into a blur, closely following the demon wood semi-saint and vanishing from the other creature's sight. As the demon wood semi-saint left, The creatures exchanged glances, and a short silence fell upon the place. And then cheers and shouts of jubilation erupted. The sky-touching mysterious wood had ascended to sainthood, and a celebration was undoubtedly forthcoming. Elsewhere, deep in the monster wooden domain, the place where the demon wood semi-saint had once rooted was now a massive, bottomless pit. This was the mark it had left on the earth after pulling out its root system. Now Sue ran, and the demon wood semi-saint stood before this pit. "Thank you for providing a safe haven for everyone during a time of crisis," the demon wood semi-saint said after a moment of silence, its voice tinged with a hint of emotion. "Without it, my evolution might not have been so smooth." Although it had prepared for this evolution hundreds of years in advance, constantly fortifying and stabilizing the monster wooden domain's order, and rehearsing the battle of 10,000 tribes for the evolution ritual year after year. It was only when it faced the rebel of order attributes during the evolution that it realized it had underestimated the difficulty of this evolution. Chapter 561, 301, The Secret of the Saint Spirit Xuanmu's Gift. Chapter 561, Chapter 301, The Secret of the Saint Spirit Xuanmu's Gift, / The madness of the rebel of order attributes pushed its tenacious will to the brink of collapse time and again. Were it not for Sue Ran's assistance, simply allowing the creatures of the demon wooden domain to pray for blessings individually, it might truly not have survived that challenge, ultimately becoming a crazed walking corpse. "So, within the scope of my abilities, is there anything you need my help with?" A few breaths later, 3 increasingly powerful auras soared into the sky. Those were no longer the auras of the Overlord stage, but of the Emperor stage. From now on, Beast Emperor of Beast Field number 47 gains 3 more sovereigns. Witnessing this scene, in the crowd, Su Yunchuan's eyes revealed a hint of envy. In that very moment, among his 6 pet beasts, the ones that had evolved to the Emperor species simultaneously felt their own shackles loosen. However, as pet beasts, their growth stage was still constrained by another layer of limitation. This was the stage of the Beast Master's contract power. The present demon wood semi-saint was still insufficient in using its own power to dissolve the most basic rules of this world, and the recent empowerment was only targeting the Emperor species, not including the Overlord-level Beast Masters. Nevertheless, Su Yunchuan was also clear that he did not possess the qualification to ask the demon wood semi-saint for help in achieving a breakthrough. Unlike the 3 quasi-emperors who had always been following closely by the demon wood semi-saint's side, humans within the monster wooden domain were more like protected tenants. They held reverence for the demon wood semi-saint, but had not completely submitted to it. Su Ran and the 3 little ones, also observing this scene, were again profoundly shaken. The demon wood semi-saint, having completed its final evolution, breaking through to the epic level, was able to empower 3 Overlord stage quasi-emperors to the Beast Emperor level seemingly with a simple gesture. This divine-like display almost had the demeanor of a saint spirit. Su Ran's heart surged with emotion. The saint rank represents the most powerful beings in this world. And now he finally witnessed a portion of this rank's power with his own eyes. In this moment, the same longing for the status of the Holy Spirit race ignited within the 3 little ones. If they too could become part of the Holy Spirit race, what kind of power would they wield? With this thought, different images surfaced in the minds of the 3 little ones. Xian envisioned the terrifying power that seemed capable of annihilating everything, the power she'd wield when casting divine punishment, should she evolve into a Holy Spirit race. How powerful would it be to possess a similar strength? Star imagined the starry sky he looked up to every night. Those stars had long been etched deeply in his heart, and now he seemed to have the chance to become one of them. As for Can, the first thing that came to mind was the image of a dragon. But, catching a glimpse at the edge of his vision towards one of the 5 sealed beast emperors in the distance, still bound by the demon wood semi-saint, Can considered the golden dragon emperor decked out in golden dragon scales, and remembered the earth dragon that had been killed by the nightmare beast king, becoming part of its own evolution ritual. A dragon from the dragon extraordinary beings it deemed inferior. Can fell silent. Why did it feel like all the dragon transcendent beings it encountered were so weak? Perhaps it's better to make a run for it early. Dragons don't seem to achieve much. Meanwhile, after granting strength to 3 loyal subordinates, the demon wood semi-saint turned its gaze to the 5 sealed beast emperors floating in the void. As it willed, the order force that bound the 5 beast emperors faded into nothingness, and with the dissipation of the solidifying force, those branches and leaves turned to ash. The 5 beast emperors regained their freedom. However, they had completely lost the will to battle the demon wood semi-saint. Mere manipulation of advanced attributes had trapped them, and now that the evolution was complete, allowing the control of its own powers, how terrifying must the demon wood semi-saint have become. Flaming Crow Emperor, Golden Dragon Emperor, you two hold a grudge against me, and today you joined forces with other beast emperors in an attempt to prevent my evolution. Today you shall stay. As the indifferent voice of the demon wood semi-saint rang out, 2 leaves tore through the void, aiming for the 2 named beast emperors. You, feeling the slowly drifting leaves that left him no place to hide, the flaming Crow Emperor's eyes were filled with ferocity and terror. Sky-touching mysterious wood, you won't come to a good end. The beast field number 8 will not tolerate your existence. They won't let go. The shrill cries of the flaming Crow Emperor ceased abruptly as leaves were severed. Its golden red eyes swiftly lost their luster, as the vast power that surrounded it began to disperse into the world. The flaming Crow Emperor perished. In contrast to the hysterical flaming Crow Emperor, the Golden Dragon Emperor was much calmer. Looking at the silent flaming Crow Emperor, it let out a slight sigh. Shouldn't have provoked you in the first place. The next moment, as leaves fell, the massive body of the Golden Dragon Emperor collapsed to the ground with a thud. The Golden Dragon Emperor perished. The demise of the 2 beast emperors left the expressions of the other 3 beast emperors filled with immense fear. However, they didn't even dare to flee, because they knew very well that they could not escape the hand of the demon wood semi-saint. The 3 of you. After slaying the 2 beast emperors, the gaze of the demon wood semi-saint turned toward the other 3 beast emperors. I'll give you a choice, it said slowly after a moment of silence, submit or die. We submit. The 3 beast emperors made their choice without hesitation, each separating a portion of their origin power and handing it over to the demon wood semi-saint. This was the way in the beast field to submit to the stronger beings, a sign of allegiance. With this portion of the origin in hand, the subdued can easily inflict heavy damage upon the submitters. Having secured the origin of the 3 beast emperors, the aura of the demon wood semi-saint calmed down somewhat, no longer as sharp as before. It suddenly turned its head, looking in the direction of Su Ran. Human child, follow me. Me, Su Ran, who suddenly came to his senses, pointed to himself, and a look of astonishment appeared on his face. Senior is calling for me. Yes, you. The demon wood semi-saint nodded and then twisted its body, drifting towards the direction of the core area of the monster wooden domain. Let's follow. Su Ran quickly understood, picked up Xian and Kankan and sat on the back of Star. Zilulu. With a neigh from Star, 1 person and 3 pet beasts turned into a blur, closely following behind the demon wood semi-saint and vanished from the sight of all living creatures. As the demon wood semi-saint departed, the living creatures looked at each other, and the area fell into a brief silence. Then there was an overwhelming roar of cheers and shouts. The sky-touching mysterious wood had become sacred, and the subsequent celebration ceremony was probably unavoidable. Elsewhere, deep within the monster wooden domain, where the demon wood semi-saint had originally taken root, there now lay an immense, seemingly bottomless pit. That was the mark it left on the earth after extracting its roots. At this moment, Su Ran and the demon wood semi-saint stood before this pit. Thank you for providing a safe place for everyone in a critical moment. The demon wood semi-saint slowly spoke after a moment of silence, its voice carrying a tinge of emotion. Without it, my evolution ritual might not have been so smooth. Although it had been planning for this evolution for hundreds of years, constantly consolidating and stabilizing the order of the monster wooden domain, and rehearsing the battle of 10,000 tribes as an evolution ritual year after year. But only when it reached the point of evolution, combating the rebel of order attributes, did it realize that it had underestimated the difficulty of this evolution. That wildly intense rebel of order attributes pushed its resilient will to the brink of collapse time and again. If it weren't for Su Ran's help, if it had allowed the creatures of the monster wooden domain to pray for blessings separately, it might not have survived that challenge and ended up as a deranged walking corpse. So, within my abilities, is there anything you need my help with? Chapter 562, 302, Semi-Saint's Gift, New Beginnings and Farewells. Chapter 562, Chapter 302, Semi-Saint's Gift, New Beginnings and Farewells. Boom! As the demon-wood semi-saint leisurely revealed this little-known secret, Su-Ran's pupils constricted violently, thunder seeming to roar in his mind. Originally, he had thought that possessing a brand-new leap attribute and a significant enhancement in strength was all there was to the uniqueness of the Saint Spirit race. He never expected that there was such a specialty in the skills of the Saint Spirit race. The micro-light level is the 7th stage of proficiency, the level that comes after the violent sun level, and is the highest skill proficiency level that Su-Ran is currently aware of. Su-Ran had assumed that there were still higher levels of proficiency, just that he had not reached that stage yet, so he didn't know what it specifically entailed. He never expected that this was indeed the final proficiency level. Having all talent skill proficiencies reach the micro-light level is a necessary condition for evolving into the Saint Spirit race. This matches perfectly with the evolution conditions that the system has stipulated within the evolution path regarding the requirement for skill proficiency. What further surprised Su-Ran was the method in which the Saint Spirit race enhanced their strength. Without new proficiency levels, their way of enhancing strength was to fuse talent skills, one by one, into the Wheel of Life of the Saint Spirit, until only the Wheel of Life remained as the sole skill, allowing for a successful breakthrough to the Saint rank. In that moment, Su-Ran suddenly recalled that during the lottery drawing with pleasure value, he had obtained a certain purple item many times. Talent Skill Fusion Stone. So far, Su-Ran had never used it, because fusion of talent skills could only be attempted by a member of the Emperor species. The talent skill fusion stones he had gradually accumulated were nearly 20 in number, and if what the demon-wood semi-saint said was true, then the importance of this resource would skyrocket tremendously after reaching Emperor species. Behind him, the 3 little ones glanced at each other. In this moment, they unanimously decided that in the next resource allocation, they must trade away all the previously saved talent skill fusion stones. Although they couldn't use them now, saving them for future use was just perfect. Senior, after becoming a member of the Saint Spirit race, can one fuse skills on their own? Su-Ran asked softly. If he were to reach that stage in the future, he could rely on the talent skill fusion stones to quickly complete the fusion of talent skills, but other transcendent beings without talent skill fusion stones must have other methods, as those who had already entered the Saint rank certainly did. Yes, the demon-wood semi-saint nodded slightly. As you see, after transcendent beings evolve into the Saint Spirit race, they can use power to actively remodel themselves. I was able to transform my previous body into what it is now. Naturally, I can also fuse talent skills with each other. Of course, this process is not simple. The demon-wood semi-saint's voice paused slightly. The fusion of talent skills is based on a deeper understanding and control of one's own power and requires a long time. I understand, Su-Ran nodded in realization. It seemed that even when other creatures could fuse talent skill fusion stones still had a strong auxiliary effect. Thank you, Senior, for telling me so much that I didn't know before. With his doubts dispelled, Su-Ran spoke gratefully. There's no need for thanks. Compared to the help you've given me, this is but a trifle. The demon-wood semi-saint gently swayed his body, causing the azure golden leaves hanging from his branches to rustle softly against each other with a sasa sound. One of the azure golden leaves fell in response, drifting into Su-Ran's hands. Senior, what is this? Su-Ran held the leaf cautiously, his heart racing. After all, this was by no means an ordinary leaf. Previously, the demon-wood semi-saint had easily helped 3 overlord stage transcendent beings to break through to the Emperor stage with a leaf just like this one. And with 2 leaves, he had easily slain 2 old beast emperors that had long been famous within beast field number 47. Now, such a leaf in Su-Ran's hands felt as light as a feather, yet as heavy as 1,000 caddies. It's called the Order Badge. The voice of the demon-wood semi-saint carried a hint of a smile. You may consider it as an epic-level tier resource. And its function is quite simple, to change a certain rule within a range for a short time, versatile in use. It can be applied to enhance oneself, to confront enemies, or to other various situations, as long as you can conceive of it. This, Su-Ran gasped sharply, his face showing an expression of immense surprise and joy. Changing the rules within a range for a short time. He had already witnessed for himself the power that the demon-wood semi-saint could wield with such an ability. If he used this resource, Could he also manifest such a power once? Many thanks, Senior. Su-Ran bowed excitedly to the demon wood semi-saint, carefully tucking the order badge close to his chest. This was probably the most valuable gift he had ever received. An epic-level tier resource. The demon wood semi-saint nodded slightly, then continued to speak. There are a few things to be mindful of when using it. Firstly, only I can truly control the power of order, so the rule you create with it will indiscriminately affect everything within its range, including yourself. Secondly, the duration of this resource's effectiveness is determined by the specifics of the rule you set. The more specific the rule you define, and the greater its deviation from the original rules of the world, the shorter its effective time will be. Chapter 563, 302, Semi-Saint's Gift, New Beginnings and Farewells. Chapter 563, Chapter 302, Semi-Saint's Gift, New Beginnings and Farewells / Senior, what does the second rule mean? Su-Ran asked with a trace of confusion on his face. It sounds a bit abstract, doesn't it? What does it mean that the more specific the defined rule is, the greater the deviation from the intrinsic rules of the heavens and earth, the shorter its effective time will be? The demon wood semi-saint pondered for a moment before slowly saying, "Let me give you a simple example. Just now, I helped the 3 Quays emperors enhance their strength, and the rule I changed was emperor species have no bottlenecks. If I had changed the rule to the tortoise of longevity, the dark abyss bear emperor, and the gold-blue dragon have no bottlenecks, it would achieve the same effect of helping them break through, but the power consumed would increase more than tenfold. Because the latter is a more specific rule, it consumes more power." Another example. The demon wood semi-saint paused for a moment before continuing, looking towards the 3 little ones behind Su-Ran. If you encounter an opponent more powerful than yourself, and you need to use the order badge to set rules to weaken your opponent and strengthen yourself. At that time, if the rule you set is for your 3 pet beasts to become stronger, this order badge might last only a few breaths before its power is exhausted. But if the rule you set is for the thunder attribute, fighting attribute, dark attribute, and earth attribute to become stronger, the order badge could last for about 2 minutes. With 2 simple examples, Su-Ran easily understood which rules were more specific and how to extend the duration of the order badge while achieving the desired effects by establishing more general rules. Then what does it mean by the deviation from the intrinsic rules of the heavens and earth? Su-Ran asked earnestly. It was crucial for him to fully understand this in order to make the best use of this precious resource. This is also easy to understand, the demon wood semi-saint explained patiently. For example, you set a rule to increase the meditation speed of this area. It could be tenfold or even 100-fold. The existing rule of the heavens and earth is the normal meditation speed. The bigger the deviation from the original rule, the shorter the duration will be. I see now, Su-Ran realized. So that's what it meant. Thank you for your kindness, Senior. I'll be sure to use this treasure when it's most needed. Su-Ran once again sincerely thanked the other party for their kindness. The 3 little ones behind him felt the same joy. Who knows when this resource will be needed? The demon wood semi-saint said no more, his gaze solemnly sweeping over the battered monster wooden domain. Now, it's time to rebuild our shattered home. Then I will not disturb Senior any longer. Su-Ran took his leave wisely, riding on Star and speeding away. The demon wood semi-saint did not look in Su-Ran's direction again. Its roots emerged from the void and plunged into the huge pit on the ground, extending swiftly beneath the earth's surface. As its body contracted, it also expanded simultaneously. Rooting itself back in its original place, the saint's spirit wheel of life behind the demon wood semi-saint erupted with blinding brilliance. Majestic power of order radiated out from it as the center, sweeping through the entire monster wooden domain like a fierce wind and spreading farther outward. Bits of green gold leaves quietly shattered, transforming into a sky full of sparkling lights, as the rich power of order turned into kindling, covering the monster wooden domain with a new layer of rule-based power. The rough and shattered land turned smooth again, the barren soil became fertile once more, the burnt flora ashed by flames regrew, the wounded creatures all healed, and the desolate earth returned to its original vitality in a breath's time. Stop here. Su-Ran, halfway through his journey while riding Star, showed a spark of emotion and gestured for Star to halt. Looking around at the monster wooden domain that had been rejuvenated before his eyes, Su-Ran drew a sharp breath, turning his head to look at the shadow once again covering the sky and earth behind him. He was in the business of washing and protection for transcendent beings, while the other was cleansing the entire monster wooden domain. Such was the might of a semi-saint, terrifying indeed. The eyes of the man and his three beasts simultaneously reflected anticipation and longing. When would they be able to achieve such strength themselves? Meow, let's find the extinct thunder attraction. Xian let out a high call, its eyes full of burning fighting spirit. Previously, it had set becoming an emperor species as its goal, but having seen the strength of the Holy Spirit race, it was no longer satisfied with just that. Evolving into an emperor species was merely a small step in its journey to become stronger. And now it was time to take that small step. Little boss Su, you really plan to leave Monster Wooden City? Standing at the entrance of the Starfare Foster shop, Su Yunchuan looked a bit regretful. Actually, I've heard about you for a long time, Boss Su. It's just that I never had the chance to meet you. If you are willing to stay, the Beast Master Association of Monster Wooden Domain can offer you the position of Vice President. Although your strength is only at the general level, your potential is so vast, and you played a major role in the recent events, I believe everyone would be convinced. I am flattered by Chairman Su's generous offer. Su Ran smiled and clasped his hands towards Su Yunchuan, but my ambition lies elsewhere and I must decline. Seeing the determination in Su Ran's eyes, Su Yunchuan sighed lightly, giving up on further persuasion. If that's the case, then let it be. Outside the monster wooden domain, wild transcendent beings harbor hostility towards humans. Since you come from Xian City, Boss Su, you must be well aware. How about I escort you part of the way? No need, Su Ran shook his head again. As long as I do not encounter a beast emperor or quasi-emperor, I should be able to handle it with my strength. Chapter 564-302, Semi-Saint's Gift, New Beginnings and Farewells. Chapter 564, Chapter 302, Semi-Saint's Gift, New Beginnings and Farewells / Under the cooperation of the three little ones, even against a beast king, Su Ran had the power to fight. With such strength, in the 47th beast field, if not walking sideways, at least there was no need to be excessively cautious and timid. If possible, Su Ran hoped that fewer people knew about the extinct thunder attraction the better. That's true. Thinking of Su Ran's strength, Su Yunchuan felt relieved. With that said, I will take my leave now. Waving his hand towards Su Ran, Su Yunchuan turned around and left. The monster wooden domain had experienced a catastrophe the day before, and now it was recovering from the ruins, with much awaiting revival. The Demonwood Semi-Saint expanded the reach of the monster wooden domain to include more areas and showed a momentum for further expansion. In the future, its span would inevitably be larger than now, and perhaps one day, encompassing the entire 47th beast field wasn't impossible. The news of the sky-touching mysterious woods breakthrough to become a demon would Semi-Saint spread like the wind throughout the entire 47th beast field, attracting more wild transcendent beings to come and pledge allegiance. The original residents needed to redivide their living areas, and relationships with the new residents also needed to be smoothed out. As the representative of the humans, Su Yunchuan would be very busy in the following days. This was also a significant reason why he wanted to recruit Su Ran. Regrettably, Su Ran's ambition was not there. The system had given him a series of quests to open branch stores and a world map mostly shrouded in fog, which meant he could not settle in one place. After giving a few last instructions to the three system clerks, Su Ran, with his three little companions, turned around and walked out of Monster Wooden City, heading southwest. Yesterday, upon returning to Monster Wooden City, he had already visited those two foster shop owners from Bright Radiant City. Even though the two owners were still unsettled by the sudden change, they were very pleased to learn of Su Ran's purpose and gave him a map to Bright Radiant City. With the map in hand, Su Ran's solo journey through the wild areas swarming with transcendent beings outside the monster wooden domain was much more secure, promising a journey with few twists and turns. After teaching a lesson to few who were unwise on the road, one human and three pets arrived without too much peril at the place the Azure Hawk Beast King had previously brought them to. Standing there, they once again saw the small valley hiding the extinct thunder attraction. Just like the last time they saw it, the valley was still enveloped in misty thunder light, causing the entire mountain to be dyed purple. Above the valley, There were times when formidable thunderbolts cleaved out of nowhere, without any sign and leaving no trace. Everything about the place proved that the extinct thunder attraction was still well settled within the valley and hadn't appeared in the world. Taking a slight breath of relief, Suran glanced at the map in his hand. Such an unusual valley was clearly not unknown to the nearby bright radiant city, as the map clearly marked the location of the valley and named it Fallen Thunder Valley. Moreover, there were two five-pointed star symbols marked on the location. This signified that within the range of Fallen Thunder Valley, there lived two beast kings, making it extremely dangerous and best to avoid. And this perfectly corroborated what the Azure Hawk Beast King had mentioned previously. Meow tilde, my extinct thunder attraction. Feeling the familiar aura once again, Xian's eyes suddenly lit up. It was the one. The main material for evolution that it had been longing for. Don't be hasty, Suran patted Xian's head to soothe it. The extinct thunder attraction has not yet appeared in this world. We can't get it now, and we shouldn't alert anyone unnecessarily. We'll head to Bright Radiant City first. Taking a deep breath, he shifted his gaze away from Fallen Thunder Valley in front of him, looking towards the towering second-level town on the edge of his vision. Even from a distance, Suran could feel the stringent defenses of this town, which, under a completely different environment for survival than Monster Wooden City, showcased the bearing a second-level town should have. Bright Radiant City, despite being slightly smaller than Xian City, didn't differ much in other aspects. Perhaps because of its proximity to Xian City, the two shared many similarities in their construction styles. As Star sped along, the silhouette of the city rapidly grew in their view, and eventually, Star halted before the towering city gates of Bright Radiant City. Suran dismounted, took out his Beast Master badge and other identification materials from his pack, and then entered the city gate with his three small companions. Beep, beep, beep. A somewhat urgent sound quickly rang out at the city gate. The next moment, a beast master riding a general-level flying pet beast descended from a watchtower in the sky, landing in front of Suran. A new face, huh? Little brother, did you come from another city? Yes, Monster Wooden City. Suran calmly presented his documents. Monster Wooden City. The beast master checked Suran's documents and returned them. No issues with your identity, but I heard the Beast Emperor Sky-reaching Xuanmu became a semi-saint, even defeating two other Beast Emperors. When others are hurrying to move to Monster Wooden City, you instead run to our Bright Radiant City. I'm someone who likes traveling, Suran chuckled. Right. The Beast Master stepped aside to clear the way. You need to go to the Beast Master Association of our Bright Radiant City as soon as possible to handle the relevant formalities. Otherwise, your Beast Master points won't work in our city. I understand all that, Suran said with an appreciative smile, mounted Star once more. Could you point me the way? How do I get to the Beast Master Association? Follow this road, it's at the end, the Beast Master casually pointed, then watched as one human and three pets transformed into a fleeting shadow disappearing instantly. The speed's a bit outrageous, isn't it?